there, Jeff.
Pitch and brush. Yo. Hey, how is everybody doing on this wonderful Friday? It is Friday, right? Yes, it's Friday.
It's
Thank
Friday.
God it's Friday.
Thank God
Thank
it's
God.
Friday. I know that's right, man. We appreciate everybody hanging out with us. This is man, the first time we're ever doing this. Hopefully we'll get to do something like this again. Really looking forward to this show. We have two young men, one that just graduated college, got his first job in logistics, and another gentleman who is still in school right now for logistics. We are going to bring them on and allow them to pick the brain of all of these other folks that you see on the screen. And y'all out there watching, you got something you may want to add in. You hear these young men talking about stuff. You want to throw your 2 cents in, please, by all means, let us know. But with that said, hey, just sit back, relax, pop a top, and enjoy the lounge. Mr. Hound, how you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, brother. How are you?
Man, you really want me to answer that question? Dude, I'm just gonna.
You got to break it out, dude, because it is. I mean, but hey, Pedro, I will say before you say anything, all bad things come in threes. And I didn't want to say anything on Wednesday, but
fucking no, bro. So who wants to take a guess at what happened again this week for
No
me?
way.
What do you think, Jeff?
Jeff knows.
No way.
Swear to God, bro.
No.
Where to?
Are you shitting me?
I'm serious.
0 for 3 this
so
week.
Messed up. That's on, dude. Dude.
Yeah, man. Totally. I mean, and again, man, no. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I say I lost.
Go ahead and tell the story, Pedro, because this will be a valuable lesson for the two young gentlemen below.
Yeah, and in my opinion, I'm going to lose her. Okay, so this was our first load together. Had everything booked up, man, and the driver called me last night or yesterday afternoon. I'm sorry, called us yesterday afternoon and canceled. And out of all the times the driver canceled, I really believe this guy is being honest. He sent us screenshots of the messages. Now he could have called his wife and said, "Hey, text me this crazy shit, babe." But I mean, that would be a lot for this. But his dad or grandpa would have to go back and look. One of them was admitted to the hospital. They've been sick for a while. This time it's really bad. And he called and said, "Hey, I'm only canceling because my house is in the opposite direction." He's like, if it wasn't, I would stay on your load. And, you know, I mean, dude, valid reason. Sent me all that stuff. I'm like, cool. Hey, I get on it. I immediately call the customer. You know what I mean? Hey, this is what's going on, you know, blah, blah, blah. Because I feel she should know. You know what I'm saying? I mean, from the get-go, she should know. So everything's cool. She's like, okay, fine. You know, just work your deal, so forth, so on. And, man, I just couldn't fucking find one. No one wanted to go to North Carolina. That's all it was. Rate was fine. Just everyone's like, dude, he's like, it's a weekend load, and you know it's paying less than $2,000. And if you know anything about drivers over the weekend, that's when they like to try to do their bigger stuff. You know, get those $3,000-$4,000 loads. You know, make that weekend worth it. And you know, someone's like, no, I just don't want nothing short. You know, going over there to North Carolina, blah blah blah. And man, wasn't able to make it happen, dude. And I fucking failed her on the first load. You know, no fault of my own. You know what I mean? No fault of my own. And again, you know, he called us at I think 2:30 yesterday, and the load picked up at 5 a.m. this morning. And we all been in this long enough, you know, man. If you're going to try to recover a load, man, you better pray that it happens. If you're lucky, before 9 a.m. Maybe noon. You got a really good high probability of probably getting someone if you don't have a carrier pool. You know what I mean? It's new customer, so I don't have a carrier pool built up. And man, 2:30 in the fucking afternoon, you know what I mean, on a little short load that picked up at 5 a.m. the next day is like, man, like fuck. So yeah, bro. I'm just like, dude, can I please just get like something positive happen this week? Like I'm just bleeding money over here, man.
No worries, man. I got a prayer for you.
Yeah. Hey, actually, I need to get with you, Jeff. I didn't get with you today. I did get with Nick, but I'll say that as negative as that is, dude, I talked to my boy Nick Klingensmith, man, and I'm going through this sales training and stuff with him, bro, because that's what he does. I mean, this guy was the VP of Blue Grace Logistics. He's one of the first people that was there. This guy knows what he's doing. So he's got me pumped up, man. You know what I mean? We got a plan, and we're going to start tackling that stuff. So, and I think that is also the sign of a good logistician, not even a broker. Even though I've been doing this 3.5 years, I'm like, man, I need to change my game and try something different so I can get back better customers than I had, then I'm not going to worry about going out of business when times get hard. And so, hey, I reach out to someone that does that, man. So, you got to evolve and change shit. But, enough about me. John, what's up, man? How's your day?
I think I got you beat.
Oh, sorry. That's right. I'm sorry. DOT, the Dark Overlord of Transportation. How was your day?
Dark Overlord of Transportation. Oh, man, we're living the dream out here, buddy. Dealing with a few things, can't really explain it, but I seriously thought about changing my name to Mud for the last few days. So if that tells you anything.
It happens, man. It happens.
Oh,
Mr. Cantera, how about you? How's your day, bud?
Well, if my lord's name is Mud, just call me Cue Ball. Now it's been a crazy it's been a crazy week. Any of you who've been following me, I've been attacking the heck out of some very corrupt carriers, and they fired back in a big way, and I'm about to hit them with a nuclear bomb myself. So just more to come, but that's going to take a couple of weeks to get that set up. So
do you sell tickets to that nuclear?
I will have it. I will have it live streamed for everyone to enjoy. It is going to be fun. It is going to be fun.
It's pretty spicy. I'm looking forward to
The hook is set. The hook is set.
It's going to be fun.
Mr. Robinson, how are you doing?
I've been on vacation all week.
We could tell. We could tell. If you live where I live, everyone would think you're in the military, because this is what happens when they go in the military. Everyone grows like a 2-week facial hair thing, don't they, John?
Hey, and you know what?
That's how all this started when I first got out.
So I figured I'd vacation for a week, and that what do they call it? Movember's coming, so I figured, what the hell?
Dude, you should. We've never seen your facial hair. That'd be awesome.
You need a vacation, dude. That's good.
It's my first time off I've had since last December. So yes, it's been
good for you, man.
Necessary, and I've enjoyed it, and knocked a lot of things off around the house here. Other than that, I really don't know what's been going on the last week, because the team's been looking after all the freight. I've had 3 really good opportunities come across that I forwarded over to them. So they're working on rates and everything else. When I get back Monday, hopefully it'll be a good week next week.
Nice, man. Nice, dude. You do anything interesting with your time off? Or you just like lounged around the house or what?
No, I did get a bunch of stuff done that I had to get knocked off, that I just needed to take the time to not actually say, okay, I'm going to get it done, and then I go to work, and of course nothing gets done because work just takes over, right? Everybody on here knows what that's like, and that's what these young men are going to find when you introduce them.
100%.
Hey, Bill, I don't have a clue about what you're talking about. What do you mean work happens and things don't get done?
Well, I used to be polite and say, Mr. Brewer, I used to be polite and say shit happens, but at this point now, I'm not sure people don't realize that's not a clean word anymore.
No, do tell them.
Well, I like shit happens. It definitely does.
All right. We're going to keep moving on. Sorry, everybody. We're all going to have plenty of time to talk. I'm just trying to get through it so we can get these gentlemen on stage. We got a lot of people here. Mr. Dot, it is so good to see you again as well. We haven't seen you in about the same amount of time we haven't seen Bill.
Yeah, it's I've been missing the lounge. I've been traveling way too much. Here in Arizona, I've only been here a couple of weeks, and mainly up in Washington and stuff like that. So it's been a little hectic for me. I was going to shave for this, and then I thought, well, I'm supposed to be one of the old guys. I better be closer to Jeff and Bill than if I shave. That's like you can dress up sometimes. You can shave sometimes, can't you, Steve? I'm like, yes, Jeff, yes, I can sometimes, but not for this show. I need to be one
Proud
of
of
those
you.
guys.
I'm fucking proud of you.
But yeah, going pretty good, man.
That's good, man. Yeah, I've seen you been up there in Seattle, man. Working on more up there at y'all's location, brother. Y'all seem to be really hopping off up there, huh?
Yeah, moved into a new warehouse, and then my brokerage insurance has come up, and had to redo that. You know, it's just all these things that are always, when you own a business, they just come at you, and you have to handle them, right? So
Yeah,
it is what it is, and you just keep moving on. So
that's awesome. You're a hustler though, Mr. Dot. Like all of us on screen, we know you, dude. You're a hustling SOB, man. You're out there, you're out there prospecting, get customers, you're delivering freight, you're doing installs. I mean, dude, you're a freaking machine, man.
He's
most people don't realize that a lot of those things go hand in hand, right? If you're
Yeah,
delivering
true.
something to a customer, you can walk in and also do sales, right?
absolutely.
So why wouldn't you
Bingo.
drive that load over to that customer, right?
Yeah, 100%, brother. Mrs. Connector. Before we ask you how you're doing, I just want to say, Claudia, that your demeanor and your stature on screen does not fit you in person. Claudia, I swear to God, you were like
Claudia's a
8
pit
foot.
bull, a
Dude, I
firecracker.
thought she was like
by
8'5". I thought that's what, like, Claudia was like 8 foot tall basketball player. And when I met her last week and broke hair, someone, I was like, holy shit, I would think you were someone's child.
Yep.
Well, she is somebody. She is somebody's child.
Well, you know what I mean, Bill. Thank you, Bill. Thank you. I said it to myself right after I said it. I was hoping no one would put me on blast, but I should have known. Of course, Bill was going to be the one to do it. Claudia, how are you? How have you been since you got back?
I'm great, man. All good.
Yeah. Did you have a good time at the BCS?
It was good. It was
Yeah.
good. It was good to get connect to people. I felt like I didn't get to do. I miss people. You know, there were so many. So,
Dude, y'all need to put Jeff. Y'all need to talk. You need to talk to the board. They need to put Claudia in part of like a networking event. Like she needs to have her own panel on just networking. Because I'm telling you, she if you would, dude, I'm
Hey, I
telling
don't know
you.
what you're talking about, man. When they had that reefer little speed dating segment, me and Claudia were running that side of the room. Like closed
what I'm saying.
business immediately. It just works out.
What I'm saying.
Claudia's a force.
And last but absolutely not least, Mr. Jeff Dickinson, the Bodacious Cowboy, everybody.
Okay.
Man, we're getting a lot of mileage out of that one.
Dude, I'm never changing it, bro. It is perfect.
Don't.
It is perfect for Jeff, man. It is perfect for Jeff. Jeff, how you doing, man? You feeling better?
Yeah, no, I feel a lot better. That's for sure. I've been feeling like shit the whole week since I got back from BCS. I mean, it was just horrible. But at any time I can break out in a cough. I just don't know when it's happening. You can tell I got a little raspiness still in my voice, but I'm here for this because this is very important. You know, I can't wait for this to get started.
Well,
Yeah,
Jeff, I know you feel like shit, but if it makes you feel any better, you also look like shit. So,
Hey, look, I didn't shave at all. I mean, seriously, I didn't want to.
well, I'm glad you didn't. Go on, Pedro.
Oh, I was gonna say if we all do No Shave November, we're gonna all look like Father fucking Time by the end of the month.
I'm already there.
hey, I'm not doing No Shave November. Like that's not happening.
So, hey, I'm Father fucking Dirt. All right, so how's that? I invented dirt. So
Jeff's logistics social security number is 1. Bill, don't laugh. Yours is 2.
Hang on. Jeff built the pyramids in logistics. I didn't have anything to do with that.
Yeah, and you worked right next to me as my lumper, dude. So.
I didn't come till much later.
Oh shit, that's so funny. All right, good. Hey, we got all the pleasantries out of the way real quick. We're gonna go ahead and do our sponsor break, do really quick news because this is an important thing because winter is coming around and it's something we need to bring attention to. So, hey, Freight Ninja. Truck parking. Everybody knows that it is a problem. And although there may be people out there about whether it's paid or any of this stuff, hey, we're talking about secure places that are close to shippers or close to receivers. They're lighted, gated entry, all these things. Whether it's one truck, two truck, or a fleet of truck, it's day, night, 24/7, holidays, doesn't matter. Give them a call. They're going to hook you up. Make sure you use this code that I will have scrolling along the bottom of the screen in about 5 seconds. And yeah. Oh, there you go. Magic. Poof, poof. Looks like that. And then our amazing friend, and we got to shuffle this around because you can't see that logo there. Our amazing friend, Freight Validate, Dale Prax, amazing individual, amazing guy. Just super happy to be affiliated with him. He is doing some absolutely amazing things, talking and dealing with the FMCSA, and he is out there making change. I'm telling you, people listening, y'all really have no idea how much you owe to that man and his company for the changes that they're trying to make in this industry to make it better. So Freight Validate, everybody. Bada bing, bada boom. All right, let's go ahead. Let's roll into this news and get things moving right along. Winter is here. And what that means is chain laws are near. Actually, some of them have already started happening. But CDL Life has this article right here. ODOT, the Oregon Department of Transportation, is planning to conduct the chain inspection check on I-84 next week. That event will take place November 7th on eastbound I-84 at mile marker 217 east of Pendleton. ODOT says that the purpose of this chain check is to educate semi-truck drivers about chain up requirements and proper chain use. They're not looking to violate people with this, drivers. It says this in the article. This is literally a thing to try to help out, make sure that everyone has the proper stuff because winter is coming along. Starting at mile marker 213, speeds will be reduced to 55 miles an hour, and signage will direct trucks and towing vehicles to the right lane. Drivers will see cones separating right and left lanes on approach to the inspection site that will be at mile marker 217. Once drivers enter the inspection site, ODOT staff, motor carrier enforcement officers, and the Oregon State Patrol will ask questions about equipment. ODOT said that this should take no longer than 15 seconds. So, this is going to take anything out of your day. You're not going to have to plan extra time around this. So drivers, do not be calling your brokers, asking them for extra money on the loads if you're running across I-84. No, I'm just joking. There is, just what is put this out there, there is actually no start and end date to the chain law in Oregon. But they say it is good to start carrying chains around the region around September, October. I wanted to point this out because I remember as a driver, I thought every state had chain laws out there in the West Coast and even some in the Northeast, and it doesn't. Most of them actually don't have specific laws that say when you have to start carrying chains by. However, here are some states that do. Colorado, they have their chain law from September 1st to May 31st. Nevada is October 1st to April 31st, and Utah is November 1st to March 31st. Those are actual laws for the state that you have to be carrying chains on your commercial vehicle during those time periods. That was a simple Google search if any of you drivers are interested in going and looking that up. But thought that's pretty much. Want to bring that to everyone's attention. Hey, I was a driver and I never chained. I didn't. My trainer told me that if If it's bad enough to be chaining up, then you need to be pulling over. And I don't want to hear any of that excuses. Oh, well, you get caught in it, you get stuck in it. Because what that tells me is that you're an unprepared driver. You should be watching the weather. You should be checking state sites. You should be looking up chain laws, all of these things, so you do not get caught in it. However, that said, I do think it is a necessary skill for a driver to know how to chain. So there you go, winners out there. Make sure y'all have proper equipment. Also, along with chains, drivers, make sure that y'all are keeping extra food and water and stuff, heated blankets, things like that in y'all's truck. A lot of folks don't think about things like this. Well, winters come along. Last year, there were tons and tons of media out there for drivers that had got stuck in like South Dakota, Wyoming for days. I mean, trucks were snowed in with feet of snow around them, and no one could get into the truck stop to deliver supplies and stuff like that. So, these chains are just one thing that y'all need to have in your truck to make sure you're properly prepared for the coming winter. Anyone got any comments, any input they want to add to this real quick?
Claudia said bring powdered peanut butter. But yeah, drivers, just do your research. If you're going to be driving in those conditions, make sure you can handle it.
You just got to be prepared. I had a box truck get stuck out of El Paso, of all places, in a snowstorm for 24 hours on I-10 a few years ago. And thankfully, the guy in front of my box truck had a grill in his truck, and he had frozen burgers in his fridge in his truck. So they did a burger burn for all the people who were stuck in that area that day. I got pictures of them having a snowball fight, having a good old time.
Wow.
The point is, make sure you got food, make sure you got water, make sure you have the necessities so you can protect yourself for the amount of time it may take for rescuers to come and get you.
And I just drove through Washington State, and the electronic signs actually do say chain law starts November 1st and ends April 1st.
What state was that, Mr. Dodd? I didn't hear you.
Washington State on I-90, the electric, they say starts November 1st. So that's
okay. I mean, I didn't go all the way down the list. I Googled it and picked just the first few that actually had a chain law. But I was surprised. I was surprised that there. I literally thought that, when you're a driver, like, oh, chain law, you better have your Christmas decorations on your truck. And for anyone who doesn't know what that means, that's what you call chains. Most people throw them in under their bunks now, but back in the day, you used to have chain hangers. Some people still do, and you hang them out there and you call them Christmas decorations because that's all they fucking were, was decorations. But I thought everyone had them, Steve, man. I really did, until I looked up this deal. I was like, man, they have advisories, but very few places actually have like laws that have a time period on that you have to carry chains. Nobody else?
Yeah.
All right, good. We're ending this. That's what I'm saying.
Let's rock and roll.
You ready to bring these fine gentlemen up?
Let's do it.
Bring them in.
Aniket and Jonathan, everybody.
Hello everyone. It's nice to be here. I was just watching you guys just talk about fun stuff, though that's relaxing, and I'm not as stressed I was before joining here. So great to be here.
That's good.
Nice to be
here too. Thanks for your
joining
patience.
Yeah, it's good to have you guys here. Well, how's it going, fellas?
It's going good. I was feeling personally I was feeling a little sick, but I'm trying to recover now. What about you, Aniket?
I'm good. I've just I've started. It's been a little over a month at my new job, and I'm still trying to try. I was sinking at in my first week. Now I'm just trying to swim, which is I'm getting there. So that's what I've been trying to do. Just hard to distinguish where your job ends and where your life starts. So that's what I'm doing right now. But it's great. No complaints.
Oh, let's make this clear. Let's make this clear. Hold on. What'd you say, John? Sorry.
I said, welcome to supply chain, man. You never know where your work ends and where life starts.
I was just about to say, Aniket, let's make this clear right now. Logistics is your life from here on out. Okay. Just forget about everything else. Like it is your life. You will live, eat, and breathe this. So we're
Yeah.
going to get into your position. I can't wait to hear about your job, because last time you and I talked, you had just graduated and were in the market. So I'm really happy
Yes.
to hear about that.
Thank
So
you.
So
go
Anakin,
ahead,
when
Jeff.
you when
Yeah,
you
yeah,
start
just one thing.
when you
Just
start
one-
mapping out the grocery store in a logistics manner, you know you've arrived.
There you go. There you go. I got just to open up this round table, gentlemen. Could you please let us know, Anakin, if you could start, tell us about your background, what you studied, what kind of degree that you were working towards, and what are you looking towards the future? What are your goals and objectives?
Of course. I was born and brought up in India. That's where I did my bachelor's degree in industrial engineering. That's where I mostly focused on operations management, continuous improvement, operations research, a little bit, not too much. And I figured I was interested in operations research and industrial engineering side of things. That's when I applied for graduate school at Rice University for industrial engineering masters. After spending a year, I realized this course was very focused on one thing, but I also wanted to explore more things, and that's when I transferred to UT Dallas to their supply chain management master's program, and which I finished in this May, which was just a relief, finally getting out of school and getting things going for me. And last few months have been a learning experience where I've been interviewing so much that I didn't have to. At some point, I was just always interviewing. I was in the perpetual state of being ready to being asked questions, and I have answered ready because I've practiced it for months now. And at that point, I realized, okay, it's about time I need to settle down and find something. And that's when I found this opportunity of demand planner at Pro Petro Services. I'm in Midland, Texas right now with oil and gas services, oil field services company. And this is a new role. And my manager, Glenn, he told me this role being new, I have all the freedom that I like. It's up to me what I want to do with this, which is great. At the same time, a lot of pressure to deliver and set standards in a way. And so that's what I'm really going through right now, finishing up small projects and tasks where I could get those under my belt. So that's what's been going on with me. And apart from what I'm currently doing right now, I am really passionate about mathematics, statistics, uh, and just I've found myself deeply in this world of supply chain, and there's nothing boring about it. It's exciting, and I just want to do things, get my hands dirty.
Good for you. How about you, Jonathan? Tell us about yourself.
Well, I can't go as extensive into my work as Anakin can, probably because I'm not working right now. But I was born in Miami, Florida. I moved here to Dallas, Texas at the age of 10. And I got into supply chain because my dad does wheel alignment on 18-wheelers. So I'll go to all the trucking yards, Penske's, Riders, and we would be fixing up the trailers, we'd be filling up the tractors, we'd be like lining it all up. And I was like, well, there's clearly work in this field. Let me explore it more. And that's where I found logistics, because I was looking for something that wasn't like as much as a desk job, something where you could do something new every day. And like, I want to say continuously learn, but there's always something exciting, something to keep you engaged. And now I'm at the University of North Texas. I am a junior pursuing my supply chain management degree. Sort of figure out where I want to start in the field. I'm leaning between some operations, but I'm also looking around for like sort of zero. I kind of want to learn everything and then figure out where I take my first steps.
Love it. Love it.
Dude, I think operations is probably the best place to start in logistics. I mean, seriously, not taking away anything from you, Anakin. I mean, dude, you're in the oil and gas industry, and I'm gonna just say, as someone who has family deep entrenched in that, that's a hard industry to get involved in. Period. Much less logistically. But yeah, operations is an extremely good place to get your feet wet, man. I mean, because operations touches every single thing, man. I mean, it's from running trucks and running people and booking freight and doing things and being in control of even sales. You know, I mean, there's sales operations people that make sure those stuff goes. So that's a damn good place to start. So what we want to go ahead, Claudia. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I just want to toss something there, Jonathan. Hey guys, like kudos to you for having the nerve to get on a podcast live with the yahoos surrounding this whole thing right here. Good for you on that. But you've got a lot of wisdom here too. I say that in jest. What I would like to say as someone much newer to the industry than a solid 80% of the people around me. If I think everybody here has been in the industry longer than me for sure. But what I would say, Jonathan, you were talking about like where to start. I mean, you're still in college, right? I understood that correctly.
Yeah.
Hey, like, are you gonna work part-time? Are you working part-time? Because if you are, like, legit spend some time in the bullshit supply chain lanes. I'm like back of the dock warehouse where drivers are yelling at you because of how long it takes, or like somebody's bitching at you because of the forklift, or timelines, or boxes being crushed, or whatever it is. Like, understand, like, I feel like no matter what the industry, this is just like world, like across the board. If you have been in a different position in that industry and understand what the other person is going through, then you have a lot better. That's why, like, people who've got it right, that were drivers, are like awesome at being brokers, right? Because like they understand what drivers are like going through on that, right? So you have, like, it gives you a better understanding to get like what it's like to sit in to have all the drivers like pushing and rushing, or whatever it is, like whatever aspect of like the job that you can get while to experience, like, that's if you can work. I'm not saying that you have to, but that's a great opportunity to be able to have better reflection and understanding as you like progress to a different level of work in the industry. My 2 cents.
No, yeah, I definitely thought about getting some part-time experience, especially up here in Denton. There's a lot of local warehouses and manufacturing sites. The only hard part for me is that I'm already balancing school with being president of the logistics student org. So that alone is already basically like another part-time job. So, but once I move on from being president, and hopefully I will be able to get some more, like getting my feet wet while I'm still in school.
Great.
You know, see, even with that right there, Jonathan, that being president, man, like you're teaching yourself a skill that is invaluable in logistics, and that's people management. And you're already dealing with operational stuff. You don't even realize it. When you have to put together those meetings and get all those people and do this and that, man, that's operations. Making that club work and doing that stuff, man, you're already out there doing that, dude. So you're already kind of getting your feet wet, man. And applause to you for being a leader, man. You know, already in school. That's commendable.
Thank you.
Well, one of the comments I would make to both of you is you're going to have a huge advantage or leg up. The most successful people in this business long term, the thing they all understand is supply chain. How the supply chain works, how it's affected by different individuals. When you look at it in a lot of cases, Jeff and I have known each other for quite some time now, but you'll see when shippers, people who've worked in the shipping industry that understand the supply chain from start to finish, they've worked in several of them, when they transition to asset or brokerage, because they understand the supply chain, what's required of the movement, not only just from A to B when you're a trucker, but the goods of the warehouses, all the technology that goes with that. You guys are learning this by taking that right course in advance. So you're going to have all of the theory, and now you're going to find out, like the people around you, a lot of the people learned it through years of experience and through practical. In my case, at the age of 58, I went and got my CCLP, which is a certified logistics professional in Canada. Both individuals that here, like Steve, the school that he has set up and everything else, it's constantly learning something new every day. And just where you're going to take from people that have been in the industry with experience long term, they're going to learn from you from technology, how you're going to take advantage of some of the technology that's coming out that you're learning in the school, and that you apply yourself to much faster than the older generation, quite frankly, does.
Yes.
Hey, before we move on real quick, hey, Steve, would would we be able to maybe get these two in the school for a little bit, maybe?
Yeah, we can I'll send them an invite or whatever and have them come into the freight school. It'd probably be a pretty good addition. We're going to have another on November 7th, we're going to have another social media blitz for freight school, but I think it's a good place to go. I mean, from my standpoint, if you want to look at my experience, I've been in for 40 years, but let me go back to college. Everybody pretty much knows I started in logistics in the Air Force. I loaded airplanes when I was 17 years old, but I only stayed in the Air Force for about 4 years and went to college. While I was in college, I needed a job that didn't interfere with my school, right? So Office Depot was setting up 5 new stores in the San Antonio area. That's where I went to college. They said, oh, we need people at night to unload trucks and bring stuff out on the floor and put it up. And I remember the trucks, and as a kid, I remember the trucks showing up, and all the display units and racking would come in, but not the product. And then the trucks would show up with the product that didn't have the racking. And that was my first introduction to clusterfuck. Was literally, we were at our first Office Depot store where everything that was brought in did not fit with what was coming on the next truck. And so, because I was the oldest of the young people working at night, I said, hey, Steve, is there any way you can make phone calls and see if you can coordinate? And you would think Office Depot at the time, they were growing and expanding. They were pretty new. But that was my first introduction to civilian logistics, not, military logistics. And it was just an eye-opening experience to see how disorganized a bunch of trucks can show up to one place. and just leave everybody sitting there going, well, what do we do? The stuff that we need racks for is sitting on the floor. The racks that we have no product to put on. What do you want us to do? And you just stand around, So that it's a good thing to start off in operations. I think that's the point I want to make, is so that you see the mistakes, you see the problems that happen, and any kind of part-time job like that could introduce you to those kind of mistakes, right? So that would be my, any kind of part-time job kind of like that, unloading trucks. Start out in operations. It's the best thing to do.
Absolutely.
So, Aniket, the company you're with now from an oil, are you guys a downstream company? Yeah. Final mile for the oil?
One thing I would recommend, if you
damn, John, just cut Bill right off. Fuck you, Bill.
I'm out.
No,
Bill, I won't do you like that.
I don't know if John can hear us. Can you hear us, John?
I think our overlords haven't connected.
Sorry, guys. Didn't mean to cut you off, Bill. Go ahead.
No. I just wanted to ask Aniket where his company, from standpoint, like, are you guys a downstream? Are you guys a pipeline company doing final mile deliveries?
No, we are a fracking company.
Okay.
Just fracking and sending out those pumps out there, getting those pumping hours. And I'm still new to this industry, to this business, and I'm still learning how things work. And my job right now, where I'm looking at, like, getting ready, where just using whatever I've learned in school, which is a surprising shock, as Stephen was telling us, like, what you learn in school is so different and different than what happens in real life. It's a clusterfuck. That's the right word. And it's when you I'm finding myself just recalibrating myself to okay, that is not what problem to tackle at what stage, because right now just cleaning up your data, it's as simple as that, and it takes time. And then just getting where you're planning stuff, like my title is demand planner, and I want to go out there, do forecasting and stuff, but that's going to take some time, where I need to get ready and get things under my belt, get used to the business. And that's going to be a learning curve for me. And I'm prepared. I know that, just getting my hands dirty, like that's I'm ready for it.
Here's an idea for you. Aniket. You mentioned when we were just talking earlier that you have a degree, or you were studying industrial engineering, correct?
Correct, yes.
You are in a great position, my friend, being in the petroleum business, with what you're doing, where you could pull in that industrial engineering part of what you studied and excel and move in there. Once they know you have that, or if they do know that, you can probably combine both of them to get really deep into the supply chain in that industry, because that industry, my friend, is huge. And you're dealing, like you said, with pumps, and you're doing with a lot of sand and drilling and all of that. That has to do with engineering, you know. So if you can take this and match it up and marry it with that, as you learn, you're going to do very well.
Now, let me piggyback on that. One of the other things you can transition into from that would be into the maritime industry. When it comes to dealing with tankers, whatever the commodity is. Of course, you're going to have the background in petroleum, which is going to be good as it is. But there's also liquid products, cryogenics, and stuff of that nature that you can always get involved in with as well. Houston's a great place for that, as well as New Orleans. There's a bunch of places out in the Gulf Coast that would be fantastic for that type of thing. And on the Southeast, if you want to get over onto the East Coast too. So the maritime might be a nice stepping stone when you come out of the oil fields.
Yeah, and when you think about it too, John, you know, you got BP, huge down there in New Orleans, you know, maritime, BP, drilling outside.
All the big players in New Orleans. All the big players are there.
Massive size ones. So that's just something to think in the back of your head, Aniket, like as you move forward in, you know, in your career and what you want to do, you might see yourself splintering off. And that's okay, because everything that you learn every single day, and hopefully it's something new, is only going to expand your knowledge, where you'll be able to take bits and pieces of it and then put it to whole, and maybe even create your own position that doesn't even exist right now, you know? So
yes,
good.
Yeah. And that's one of those things where right now, I know, like going through school and they teach you all those fancy stuff of network optimization stuff, you know, all the fancy stuff. But when you go and talk to people like yourselves who have been working for 30, 40 years, how do you do business? It's like, yeah, I just, you know, it's business sense, it's experience and all that analytical tools. And I thought I was great at what I did, but when you talk to people, that's just something that it's like I'm missing a part in my brain, and I need to grow that. And that's something I'm really not struggling with it, working on it, and just constantly knowing that I'm learning and I don't know this, and then keeping on, like asking the right questions. At the same time, just trying to stay sane in a way where, you know, just getting work done, because right now I'm dealing with standardization, and I'm scared that if I don't do this job right, it's gonna.
Okay. Yeah. Seriously, the best advice I could tell you, it's okay to fail. It's okay to fail.
Just
if I could interject, thank you, Jeff. I literally was just about to say that. My first thing. Two things. I don't know about everyone here on screen, but I know at the very least, Hunter and myself both have degrees in logistics, supply chain management. So my first thing I want to tell you is to bounce off what Papa Freight, we call him Mr. Dot. To bounce off what Mr. Dot said is, dude, everything that you learned in school for logistics, supply chain is it's applicable maybe 20% of your logistics career.
If that, the biggest thing I learned is how to make connections, build relationships, and make shit happen. Because when you're in your senior year, your junior year, and you got 18 hours a semester, and you're having like 4 different projects, you got to figure out how to, you know, move some things around and communicate with people. So there's applicable things. You know, I think the biggest thing I remember from all of my learning is loading the weight in the front of the trailer. Because if you load the heavy weight in the back, then you're going to fishtail, and that's about it. But it's good though.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, there's no way to prepare for this industry. There's no way to prepare for this industry.
Saying. But let me. So to finish my thought is, you know, take that schooling with you, Jonathan. This applies to you too, man. Bring that schooling with you. But I'm telling you, logistics logistics is a hands-on learning industry. It really is. I'm telling you, I went to school. I think Nathan and I both went to DCCD, the Dallas County Community College District. Like, I learned from logisticians, great people, man. I spent 4 years going to school, and I use very little of it. And to bounce off, I think it was what Bill said, the supply chain. That's the best thing, man. Understanding how it works as a whole is really the base understanding that you need. Everything else you're going to learn from doing, and you're going to learn from failing. You're going to make mistakes, man. And Aniket, you talked about questions. And again, Jonathan, I'm talking to both of you. Dude, this is a questions industry. Everything that you do in this industry, it is questions. Don't ever think, oh, that's a dumb question. Dude, there isn't, because everyone does business differently. Everyone has different things that they expect. And you may not know stuff, Aniket. I mean, you've never been in the oil and gas industry, man. So this is new to you. So, use a lot of that stuff. And my second point that I was going to make, I totally freaking forgot, but yeah, I'll remember it. And I'll interrupt someone in about 5 minutes. And I'm like, fuck, I remembered it. And I'll interrupt someone. So, yeah, there you go.
And Aniket, I got something.
Failure is part of learning. Failure is a part of learning. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. In fact, you learn more from failing than from succeeding. Never stop asking questions. I've got 25 years in this, and every day I'm learning something new. And there are actually times that I come across feeling like I've got imposter syndrome. Should I be doing what I'm doing? Am I qualified? The answer is yes. You have to be a critical thinker. You have to try to figure out, okay, if this isn't working, what's plan B? Have plan B in your back pocket. Okay. And then think about what's plan C. Because eventually you're going to need plan B. You're going to need plan C. You're going to need plan X, Y, and Z at some point. It's going to happen, okay? You don't know everything going in, and no one does. But working with a good team, working with the experiences around you, asking questions of your mentors, that is going to take you miles and miles up down your career.
Yeah, and Aniket, the thing about understanding supply chain management from a macro perspective and things you learn in school of how to take data, it all comes down to learning, I think, the basics of all the operation. So if you're in Midland, Odessa area, I'm sure as you drive and you look, every other vehicle's a sandbox, right? Do you analyze that data of sandboxes moving around town? Like, doesn't it ever cross your mind like, wow, there are so many of these, especially being in the fracking industry, right? So if you see all that, that's the basics. That's the data you really want to understand why and how all these sandboxes move around the area, and then apply it to the overall. You understand what I'm saying? It's have your feet on the ground, understand the basics, the very basics of the logistics, and then apply it to the data analytics and pull things together. I mean, that would be my recommendation. I always recommend that to everybody. Start at the basic. The basic is that truck moving down the road. That's the basics.
So, hey, if I want to pull in right here, Aniket, Jonathan, we've been kind of talking to you guys, giving y'all some stuff, but the point of this is for y'all to ask questions. Even some of the stuff you learned in school, utilize people on the screen and ask them anything that may be on your mind, or if you wanted to ask someone, a teacher maybe can't think of, or career direction, any of that stuff. So you guys, take over whenever.
Let me ask him the first question. I just want to know, in your guys' personal opinions, what is one aspect you guys feel is essential to know to enter the field?
Let's start at the bottom with Jeff, and we'll work counterclockwise back up to John. So Jeff, Bill, Mr. Doc, Claudia, Hunter, John. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, say that one more time, Jonathan.
Now, what's one thing you guys feel is essential to know as you enter the logistics supply chain field and industry?
For me, I've been in it for 44 years. I knew nothing. I'm being honest, right? You grow as much as you want to in the industry. You start in one area, you think that's where you're going to be for the rest of your career if you stay in it. But the more you ask questions, the more knowledge that you gain, and you apply it to everything within logistics operations, whether it's DC operations, warehouse operations, freight payment, inventory, the whole gamut, right? you're going to learn those things, and you'll adapt that learning process to other operations within the operations, and you'll grow. And then you're going to find yourself leaning towards one thing. You might want to go into management, or you might just want to load trucks for the rest of your life. I know people that did that because they fell into a comfort zone. What I suggest is that you get uncomfortable, ask many questions. The more you're uncomfortable, the better off you'll be, because it kind of forces you to learn and then to create, because you're going to find other ways of doing things that other people never thought of doing. You know, you've got book smarts being the college, and now you got the street smarts where you're actually in the trenches doing the work, and you're applying the two together. Now you start creating something that's really valuable that a lot of other people don't have. There's a lot of people in the industry that has never stepped inside a warehouse or a DC, you know, which kind of limits their ability. All of us, I mean, John, myself, Mr. Brewer, Bill, Papa Freight over there, we've all been in the trenches. Trench work is where you learn the most.
Well, I guess if you look at it, I think it's great advice, Jeff. But for me, guys, what I would say is what's allowed me in all industries, especially this one, is a thirst for knowledge. So no matter what, I keep an open mind. I want to learn from everybody or learn something new every day. And I try to make sure that when I'm asking questions, that I'm asking questions that are not only going to just benefit me and my knowledge, but obviously the other individual to be able to share something in return. So you guys have just come through doing something that most people may not be able to accomplish. I never did it. So from that standpoint, I think it gives you a leg up that shows you have the ability to learn.
Yep.
The next portion of it now is making sure that you remain open to that learning, because this industry, everything is different. And I apologize for John's comment earlier, because Mr. Ken Terra sending you towards the shipping industry as a freight forwarder is the last place I would send you to start with.
I wasn't necessarily saying freight forwarder. I was more thinking stevedore. That's another story.
We know where you're going.
Listen, guys, you know, after everything I've gone through, and I used to write articles, I may start with that, but if you're going to go and become a longshoreman for ILU or ILWU or ILA, by all means, they make $200,000 to $950,000 if you're the president, apparently. So aside from that, though, if you're starting in transportation, ocean freight and everything else, so that was the last area I went into, because contingency planning, you're doing it the minute you book a container, you're contingency planning right at the same time. It's not like a truck. It's not like a rail. Rail is set it and forget it. Truck requires a lot more management and planning. Ocean, where everybody talks about double brokering, as soon as you go into the ocean freight, you realize that I'm a part of a group of 5,600 other people at DP World moving freight across this great globe. It's like double brokering heaven, and yet it's what's done every day in ocean. So you have to really take your time before you go into that one. And trust me, when you reach back to John, you'll say, I'm glad I waited.
Yeah, and from my perspective, same thing. I think it depends on where you start. And all I'm going to say is you got to love what you do if you're going to be good at it. You can't go into something and be forced to do it and expect to do good if you don't like it. Okay, so there's so many different parts of the supply chain. I mean, you've got purchasing and procurement and data forecasting, and you got from the front of the supply chain to the back of the supply chain. So whatever you get interested in school or at a part-time job, and that's what you really like, or you fall in love with it, stay in that for a while and master it and get good. And then you'll go, you know what, I've mastered this. Let's move on to, you know, like Bill said, ocean freight. You know, now I'm ready to tackle ocean freight. But I think at that point, you know, it's like me, I started loading airplanes. And ever since then, there's pretty much every piece of equipment I've loaded. I've loaded rail cars. I've loaded trucks. I've unloaded ocean containers. So yeah, I think it's just steps. It's just you get good at one thing, you like it, you love the job. And then you go, you know, I'm interested in air freight. Let me learn how that works. And it doesn't have to be transportation related either. It could actually be warehouse management or purchasing or forecasting or whatever. I mean, all those things. But I will say all of those things depend on how much you know about the baseline operations of wherever you're working. Okay, so like I say, when I say to Aniket, looking at the sandboxes moving, that's the basics of the industry, right? So you've got the pumps, you've got it moving, and that's the basics. Learn all that and move on to the next one, and that would be my suggestion. To do something you love first, and then expand on it.
Mm-hmm.
I concur.
Yeah.
Hey, John Cantera.
I think Claudia's up.
Yeah, I think Claudia's up.
Yeah, Claudia.
Good,
Paige
Claudia.
over here playing musical chairs with us.
I'm trying to make sure that our sponsor's logo looks good. Okay.
Does
Thank
look
you.
good.
Hey, got to pay the bills.
Right
baby.
above that
Gotta pay
Spill
the
Boys
bills.
Filky that you can get on logisticsloungeshow.com.
Lounge.com. That's right. Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Claudia,
you're on mute.
muted, huh?
You're pulling
You're
a
on mute.
technology, Rob.
There we
There you
go. Hey, listen, I muted because the monsters were being vocal earlier. So, for you two new guys, I have actual monsters. I have puppers, and they're just giant, and they make a lot of noise when they want to.
Claudia's just really small. Those dogs are medium sized.
They're ankle biters.
Listen, I'm gonna let Drax saddle up by y'all and tell you, and you can tell me how much of a fucking ankle biter he is. Listen, I feel like your tone will quickly change.
Come on.
I feel like I've already kind of put my 2 cents in as far as what's the most important, man. Like everything, like being able to, I think being able to acknowledge that there are other points of view. P.S. This is life lesson, not just a logistics lesson. Understanding that there is someone who fully believes they are just as valid and right as you are, that's sitting on the exact opposite side of you. So whether that's like, and I know that you guys aren't into this, you don't understand my background in with being in fraud here in the industry, but as a risk manager, I'm like screaming at my carrier, my load coordinators about like making sure that, the carriers that they put on are this, that, and the other. And they have the exact same on the opposite side of the fence. Like they're trying to load trucks. And so they have a full 100% reason for what they're trying to do and be on the carrier's side, if you will, if there is that kind of back and forth. Even though we're almost completely opposite of each other, we both have to recognize that we have a valid point. We have something that we can bring to the table, and that you need to be able to like understand from the other side, so that you can be the best. You can work together for the best of your company. I feel like my ops team and I come to a pretty decent meet in the middle. We take way more risks than I want to take, but they don't load near as many trucks as they want to load. So it doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're talking about your significant other, your relationships, a business partner, whatever it is, if you understand that, if you can look at that and truly say like, hey, I get that you have a point. Let's really like lay out what our points are. Let me work in your position. Let me side saddle, sit with you for whatever amount of time, for a week. Let me understand what you're doing. So that I can better understand how we can work together, and have them do that with you. And I think anytime you have the opportunity to do that, you're in the position to do that, or in the position to allow others as you advance in your career. That's just something that invaluable. And if you have team members that want to embrace that, then you're going to have a fucking awesome team. And if you have team members who are like, fuck that, fuck them.
There you got it.
Claudia, you were the most awesome fucking colorful person. Like, I love you, Claudia. I love you. You're absolutely amazing.
I love her.
Straight education as always from Claudia, the connector. Mr. Cantera, what about you? What advice do you have to give to Jonathan and Aniket about what's essential here?
Get to know where you're at. Understand where you're at and what you're doing. Because every job you go into is going to be entirely new. You're going to learn all new sets of skills in every position you roll into, and how far you advance is going to depend entirely on you. One of the things that I focused on in my career is I wanted to understand supply chain in its entirety, cradle to grave. Now, I haven't been overseas to see how things are done overseas, but I've been in manufacturing. I've been in maritime. I've done containers. I've done trucking. I've done chassis. I've done warehousing. I've been all the way around, and it's given me enough of a unique perspective to be to do some of the things that I'm very passionate about. I'm very passionate, like Claudia, dealing with fraud in the trucking industry. And I'm able to detect other areas of fraud within the industry and other possible solutions, looking at different parts of the supply chain in order to stem fraud in transportation specifically. So, but it's only because I wanted to go and look at things from various different points in the supply chain that I gained that perspective. And it will take decades. Okay. Get good at what you do. And then once you feel you're comfortable where you're at, that's the time when you need to move on and learn something new. Someone on this panel said before, when you start feeling uncomfortable, okay, that's when you're learning. When you start feeling comfortable, it's time to start moving on and get more challenging stuff under your belt. I think it was the 2T2 sitting over there. I know I'm throwing around some Air Force jargon. I was a logistics readiness officer, so you used to work for me. But that's okay. That's all I got.
Hunter, do you want to say something, or do you want me
I
to
got
go
a few
last?
things to say. So the first thing is you got to have some fucking thick skin in this industry, thick skin and patience.
Yeah.
And within that, you have to learn that there are controllables and uncontrollables. Unless you're behind the wheel of that truck, unless you're the ones moving those containers, there's a lot of things that you cannot really prevent unless you're. I mean, you do your due diligence, but there are things that are out of your control. And within that, don't be afraid to fuck up. Like all these guys are saying, get in there, dive head first. Do not dip your toe in. Dive head first. I got in, and everybody's doing truckloads and LTL. I immediately hopped in to the ocean stuff. Drayage was my bread and butter. My first contract was 300 containers a week out of Long Beach in 2018. And if anybody remembers the port conditions in 2018, it was a shit show. And I learned very, very quick that number one, don't if it's the 5-letter word, too good to be true. Cheap carriers are out there, man. Do not work with those cheap carriers. Oh yeah. You need this rate, I'll give it to you. You're gonna be put on the back burner. So yeah, just don't be afraid to fuck up. And when you do fuck up, just learn from it. Don't get discouraged. Don't get mad. Just keep on trucking, man. Because that's everybody in this room has had some major catastrophes somewhere along the line. You get fired. You'll get put in the hot seat. People throw you under the bus, but it's not your fault unless it is your fault. But if it is your fault, keep on moving on. And never give up, and just know your worth along the way too. Like no matter where you're at, know your worth. Like nobody can tell you that just because they have 20 years of experience and you only have a year or two of experience. Like you might know something that they don't know. Bill Robinson down there, you've been in the industry what, 40 years? And this year I saw you get what, two certificates. You're still out there taking courses. Like that's what you have to do. And in all of that, if you don't have time to take those courses, just networking. You bother all these people. We thought Jeff Dickinson was going to be the meanest guy on planet Earth, but now he's one of our greatest friends, and he's taught me and Pedro some very valuable lessons. Same thing with Mr. Dot, same thing with Bill, same thing with John Cantera, same thing with Claudia. Like we're all in the same industry, but we all have different experiences that grow us together. So just know that this industry is massive. It is a multi-trillion-dollar industry, and nobody's going to take your cake. Like nobody's going to come in there and steal your customers. You share that wealth, you share that knowledge, and we all grow together and we make this industry a better place. So, you guys are in a very special spot here, especially you, Jonathan. You're only a junior in college, and you're coming out here and already doing the network and already on a panel, talking to these cats like, and Aniket, like, dude, you guys, like, you've already got the leg up. So, could go on forever, but The thing is, yeah, like if you love this industry, you'll never be able to escape from it. I've taken two hiatuses just to clear my mind, and then I come back in and boom, you know. Right.
This place is like the mafia. Once you're in, you can't get out.
Yeah, it's like a
that's true.
drug or
But
it's like a drug
it's
or an
just like
ex-girlfriend, man. You're gonna come back eventually.
I'm gonna show part of my age. Hold on, Claudia, I'll let you go because I want to answer with my thing, and then I'll let you talk, and then we move on. So Jonathan can get questions. If you've ever seen the movie Blood In, Blood Out, that's what logistics is. Blood in, blood out. Like that's what it is. All right, hey, I want to keep mine short. Two things that I tell you that I think is beginning off, I would actually say through your career, the most important things in logistics, and these are also life lessons for you two young men. One thing, and this is probably the most important thing I've ever learned in my life professionally, and I learned it from the military. Always know the job of the person above and below you, because that way you understand what the person you're giving orders and direction to has to go through and deal with, and then the person above you understand why they are giving you the orders and the directions that they are giving to you. And also, you should always be looking to take, or not literally take the person's job above you, but like the person above you, that's your next step. You know what I mean? And so always know the job of the person above and below you. That is one of the first things that they teach you in the military. And that is logistics everywhere in life, anything that you do, man. Second thing, I'm going to bounce off what Hunter said. Networking, guys. I am telling you, I can't speak of any other industry. I've been in logistics 18 years or 19 years. I don't know, but a long time. And like John and like Papa Dot, Mr. Dot. Listen to me, 8 Mile shit.
I like Papa Dot.
I know, right? I started off in logistics in the military, but networking, guys. I mean, all of these people that y'all see on screen, Hunter and I met through LinkedIn and networking, and I'm gonna throw them there. LinkedIn is a powerful tool. You need to be on there every single day. You need to give yourself 30 minutes. You need to scroll through there. You need to interact. You need to connect with people, because with all the folks on this screen, I have learned something from every single person on here, and I continue to learn stuff. I mean every time these folks, we talk on a consistent basis, and I can call them anytime I want and say, hey, I've got a problem. This is the deal. Like, what should I do here? So networking, guys.
Hell
Always
yeah.
be
And I'll
networking,
jump on
because you
that,
never,
dude.
yeah.
Today reached out to Jeff for truck maintenance up in New Jersey. Talked to Claudia earlier this week. We're gonna work out. She's getting some business. I'm getting some business. Talked to John today, about fraud, like Papa Freight. We've talked. Bill Robinson. I don't know about that guy. It looks like he's shaved in the middle of the show, but I mean, I can take that. But see, I'm over here taking notes too. Like this is what it's about. But yeah.
Oh, there he is. Curious.
Just realized light was on above my head.
Oh, first time.
Yeah, it's like that cartoon.
That was an amazing question, man. That was an awesome question. Go ahead, fire away. What else you got, Jonathan? Anakin, ask away, man. This is your guys' time.
Well, I was actually following up on Hunter's advice on what he was saying. Like, when you're working with seniors, when you're working with someone who's been doing this for 5-10 years, and you're like, I'm new, but my job is to get them to do something for me. How do I do that? Like, I have no idea how to ask them to do this for me.
Tell them that you're new. Break down who you are in this industry, and that vulnerability will get you so much further than trying to act like you know what the fuck you're doing. 10 times out of 10, because I will tell you, the first 2 years in this industry, I try to use big words, and I was like, oh, I got a college degree. Let me help you utilize your supply chain, man. Just bullshit. Nobody likes that, man, because they've heard it all. Just be honest. If you have a question, reach out to them. And if they don't answer right away, just bug the hell out of them. And then you got Jeff bugging us now, so it goes round circle, man.
I'll tell you one thing about that. Hear me out. If that person doesn't listen to you or gives you a rejection, you are in the wrong role working for the wrong company. because it's the culture. And if those old guys, I can tell you right now, not one of us old guys would ever do that. We would listen and say, sure, what can you help you with? You know, it's the guys that got the big freaking ego that it's my way or the highway kind of guys that you do not want to work with. So you have to feel that out like almost immediately, you know, because if it starts, it's never going to end. And you're going to be working in a hell environment. So, you know, start looking, you know, but they shouldn't.
Anakin, the two comments I'll share with you, if they're a good leader, what they should understand first and foremost, and I've done it with everybody that works with me over the years,
right?
They should be teaching you and training you so that you can leave and go to work somewhere else. Right. Then they should treat you with the respect so they keep you. The other aspect, when you're dealing with a bad leader, you're never going to change him. But one thing you can always do, and you've already proved you like to read, get the online version of Manage Your Manager. When you read that book, that'll allow you how to deal with people in authoritative positions. When even, you know, the old saying when I grew up, and Jeff and Papa will leave the rest out because they're all still so young at this stage. But when you walked into the boss's office in the old days, rule number 1, boss is always right. Rule number 2, when the boss is wrong, refer back to rule number 1. Yeah. Those days are not acceptable anymore. And the leader should never behave that way. But by the same token, that book will allow you to deal with when somebody is putting that forward. Their role is not to coach, mentor. And when a shitstorm happens, which is going to happen in your world, and happens in everybody's logistics world, they're there to calm it down and show you what happens when a true leader takes possession of a challenge. And they're going to use the word challenge versus problem or issue, because as a team, you can all overcome a challenge. So remember that. And then at the end of the day, if they treat you like shit, as Jeff said, move on.
And etiquette, read this book. Read this book. It's one of the best books. I have it right behind me every single day. I've had this thing for 25 years, and I always go to it. It's one of the best things about execution and how to get it done. And
hey, Jeff, who's the author of that book?
Sure, it is Larry Bossidy and Ram Saran.
Jeff, I'm gonna need you to hold that up or spell those words.
I'm gonna word it out, Claudia. I'll send it over to you.
Okay, thank you.
Best book ever, guys. Seriously.
Well, I've been lucky in a way where everyone that I'm working with, these people who've been doing this for 10, 20 years, they've been really nice. And what I'm really struggling with is this internal argument with myself, like, okay, where do I stop? Like, am I doing this right? Am I doing this wrong? Because they're being nice. So they're gonna be, yeah, it's fine. But I don't wanna push any limits in a way. Maybe that's just new guy talking inside me.
If I could stop you, and I want to go back to what Hunter said, dude, hey, be vulnerable to them, man. I mean, I'm not saying like go, tell them your life fucking story and I have all these emotional problems, but like, dude, I'm telling you, if there's one thing that I've learned in logistics is there are more people in this industry willing to help you if you just let them know you need help than any other industry, man. Like, I don't know what it is about logistics, but I mean, dude, these people on screen are an example. Before we started this podcast, Aniket, Jonathan, Hunter and I we followed all of these people, every single one on this thing, and hung on all of their posts and liked them and everything. And now here they are, friends of ours, because, man, we're like, hey, we have this issue. Can you help us? Can you guide me? Can you lead me? Like, man, don't be afraid to ask questions and say, I don't know, because the last thing you want to do, even if you've been in this 30 years, I think Jeff and Bill and Mr. Doc, that even if you've been at this 30, 40 years, and this is the saying that I always say that me as a driver, that I was taught by my trainer, the day that you think that you know everything about this industry is the day you need to walk out of it. because you never will. There will always be questions. There will
No
always
such
be
thing as
things
an
that
expert.
there you go. There's no such
I
thing
hate
as an
that word.
expert. No such thing as an expert.
And if you're
Well,
reaching
hang
out
on,
to
whoa, whoa,
somebody,
whoa. Jason Miller, if you're going to follow an expert, Jason Miller is an expert on.
Yeah, okay,
commodities.
yes.
He's also
Yeah,
the top
great
professor,
resource.
top leading supply chain school in the world. So
Yep.
Jason Miller.
we're going to
No,
pick
he
out
is-
one expert, but that would be the one I'll put out to you.
Yes, I will agree. I concur.
Especially for these two young guys, you're going to learn trends, market, and everything else like that. What shippers really look at. That's what Jason. That's the type of post that he produces.
Absolutely.
So like, when everybody was freaking out about the ILA and the shutdown and the Christmas already shipped long before that, and the ports that were affected were all mostly auto and bulk ports. And the commodities, Jason put them out immediately, say, here's what they are, and then to debunk like the president of the ILA, 30,000 a vessel, and all these other claims he was making.
Yeah.
You know, we had 22 containers stuck there. And the highest price I think we paid on the surcharge was $1,100 US a container. They never got to 30,000. It's bad enough they're already $9,000. Jeff will tell you from shipping.
See,
used to be like 3,600.
That's gonna piss me off, Bill, because don't get me started on these steamship lines, man. I don't know how we're still getting pinned with these charges. I guess they're putting it back on the shipper, but we're still getting.
Well, hang
pinned.
on, Hunter. If you want, you can go back and look because Maersk just posted their earnings. So, because of the Suez Canal, the ILWU and the ILA, which have all caused surcharges, they were going to report 3.5 billion in profit, EBIT, and they're now going to come in at 5 billion in EBIT. That's EBIT.
Dude, I need one of those punching bags for my desk. That shit pisses me off beyond like.
Well, by the
now
way,
you know why the ILA was pushing like they were.
Well, no, but if you go back and look at it,
but they're also making money.
They lost.
They
lost. The ocean liners, don't forget, 10 years prior to COVID, they were breaking even and barely making money. Now all of a sudden they hit COVID. The FMC is already all over them because of the surcharges that they gouged. And now, sure enough, as soon as this global transition starts to take place and challenges again, they gouged again. Yes, no question that the small guys are going to make X. But it has nothing to do with the fact that the ILA is completely, at this point right now, running the least efficient ports in the world. Like when you take the bottom 70 ports, they're all in the US and Canada. They're all driven by unions. They're all trying to keep out technology. Why should a drayman have to pull up to a port and check in with a driver instead of like we do at every other terminal and port, just use a fob and in and out we go?
I still want to know why our ports aren't 24/7 and they get a 2-hour lunch break in the middle of the fucking day.
Because their union is the problem, Hunter. If the average guy makes 200,000, like to think how bad it was. New Jersey went back to work against the ILO president because the public outcry was so bad against them.
3 days.
Oh, dude, I've refused every single offer for drayage out of the Northeast except for one. And that was back in 2018. I do not mess with Elizabeth. I don't mind the Southeast, but yeah, our ports are not efficient. You got drivers pulling up and getting turned away, sitting there for 4 hours, and then you're getting charged with freaking port congestion fees.
That's what happens
right now because of diversions, Hunter. We've got 14 to 21 day delays in Prince Rupert in BC, in Canada, which is way worse than what you're going through at any of them in the US. They're still far more.
Dude, I dealt with BC, man, when I was working for Freight Mango, the international company, and I was having to figure out how to route containers, get all the bonds and, like just to route it through the US and then get it across the border. That was a shit show. I had my CEO reading like all the laws for customs and shit because they were asking for all these documents. It blows me away.
But that's why brokers will co-broker with me on that type of business, and same with shippers.
That's why I work with freight forwarders when I do that stuff because they're paper.
They don't want to get involved with dealing with the duopoly of our rail lines in Canada, as well as our unions and unloading containers. So in most cases, I bring them through a different port, so I'm getting them through in 5-6 days. but I'm also buying the free time in port and storage as well as the free time out of port, so they don't get hit with all the demurrage and storage charges. More importantly, with the new enactment, you cannot push the charges down to the trucker or the drayman any longer. That's the biggest thing they passed this year, which is going to make it so the SSLs can no longer, and or NVOCCs for that matter, push back on the drayman anymore and make them pay bills.
So, hey, Bill.
All right. Hey, hold on, everyone. I don't mean to cut everyone off. Because here we are doing what logisticians do, and we're fucking talking logistics. Okay. I love this shit. I know these two guys, but I could see their face. They're like, what the fuck is he talking about? The fuck did they
take notes. Take notes.
Yeah, take notes. Jonathan, Anakin, keep going. Cool questions, man. Pop them out here. Come on, let's go, guys. 200 years worth of experience on screen here. Let's go.
Go on, Jonathan.
Well, I guess I kind of want to ask. I'm not sure if Anna could ask it when I step out to use the bathroom, but like, what's the hardest part of your job, like for you guys?
Learning it. I'm serious. That's the hardest thing. That's why I always preach. Every day you should be learning something new. Every single day. If you're not learning something new, you're going to get lost, especially the way that technology is moving forward. Bill, Papa Freight, myself, we didn't have the tools that they have today, yet we were able to do our job and do it very efficient at that time. And as the tools grew, we grew with the tools, and we mastered how to use the TMS and the YMS and the CRMs and everything. You're at a different stage now. You're going to go through the same type of history, except decades later. Problems are going to arise. You're going to be facing it just like we did. And that's why you have to have your finger on the pulse and learn as it grows. Get around the curve. Predict what's going to happen. Take on as much as you possibly can. That's the hardest part of how we got to where we are today, is that learning curve. And there's never a stupid question. Always ask, hopefully it's a good leader, a question. I'm stuck. I need your help. And if they're really good, they will give it to you.
Yeah, listen, I have the grumpiest of grump of an ops manager for my fleet manager side. Andrew, if you're listening, shout out. Anyway, when I very first got there, like I have no experience in the industry in insurance or in claims, in transportation, none of it. So when I got there, I had a fuck ton of questions, but he didn't mind answering my questions, because even though I had lots of them and I was obviously remarkably green, one, I was asking a question before I really fucked it up. And two, I was asking like reasonable questions. Do you know what I mean? And like thoughtful. And I've tried to figure this out myself, but like, I just don't know where to go for here. Can you show me? And can I make sure to like take screenshots so that you don't have to show me over and over and over again. And so people are, even here's the thing, even if you have somebody, you guys were talking about getting someone to do something that is older than you, or, has more time and experience in the industry. And I think that when you come to it with a level of respect, but also like understanding that like you've made the decision that you made for a reason. So if you're saying, I feel like we should change this procedure, you have a damn good reason for wanting to change that procedure. And if you don't fucking change it. Don't do that shit just because you can. Okay. Now, let me get back to it. But you can, if you've got a really good reason for it, and you can give them that reason to say, hey, listen, I know we've been doing it this way since time immemorial, but we really need to make this change. And this is why we need to make that change. So, and I don't, there's every personality you deal with is going to need that conversation to be had differently. So there are people that I can walk up to and be remarkably frank and short with to get the same thing done, versus like there are other people in my company or that I've had experience with in life that I have to really fucking church it up before I can get something going to make it happen. And sometimes I just have to like politely ask and wait for it to be turned down and wait for shit to hit the fan and sit there with my I told you so broom cleaning it all up. So it just kind of depends on how that happens. But there are different ways to handle each of those. And just as long as you can go to somebody and have a valid reason for those things, like stand in it, but also be respectful with that. So, I mean, those are some of the things regarding getting other folks to buy in and do the things that you need them to do. I feel like I answered one question, then switched to another. Sorry.
Hold on, before we get into that, Bill's about to have to jump. Bill, do you have any last statements before you get on out of here? You're on mute, brother.
Yeah, sorry. Listen, have a great weekend, all. I was just actually typing one note, which can be read. The guys can read these notes, right?
Yeah, I don't know if they've discovered the private chat, but yeah.
Well, okay. So if you can, gentlemen, all I was saying is that the fact you're already investing in yourself with not only schooling, but the fact you're on a Friday night, when at your age I was definitely in a bar or chasing some skirt around, that surely says to me that with our industry and logistics, what it demands on you, you're going to be successful if you stick with it. Just keep doing what you're doing. Be open mind, you'll be successful. Other than that, have a great weekend, all. Flattered as always to have you on, guys.
Bill, before you go,
hey, Jimmy, how are you?
Hey, Bill, do you mind if these two gentlemen maybe connect with you on LinkedIn?
Not at all. They can certainly, and then when I start writing again, you can certainly comment and let me know how far off I go from, because again, when they talk about being out of the comfort zone, my CEO, because I coach and mentor at our company, thought that I should try to write something, which I failed grade 9 English, never mind, thought I'd ever write anything that somebody would read in public. And then I started writing, and that led to meeting Jeff 2 years ago. That's how I met, Beefcake and Potato. And then, of course, I got the opportunity to flatter to get to go into school, right? And that made a big difference for me that I've gotten to learn from all these individuals. But again, I was taken out of a comfort zone is how I started on this platform in the first place 2 years ago. Have a great weekend, all.
Yeah. You're the fucking man, Bill.
And
again, Bill. You too.
I highly recommend y'all get with Bill. Obviously, hook up with everybody. Hunter and I will send y'all a list of everyone on here, and make sure y'all connect with them. Everyone here is going to be an invaluable tool to you guys. I mean, I've been at this almost 20 years, man, and I'm telling you, I told you, all these people on screen, we talk to these people several times a week, so they're invaluable. Claudia, you answered last. John, what about you? Did you answer what's the hardest part about your job?
No, I didn't. I came from kind of a unique background. When I started off in the military as an officer, I was management, and one of the hardest things for me to wrap my brain around at that time is here I am in my 20s, and I'm the boss of guys who are in their 30s and 40s and have done this for a much longer time than I ever had. And to get through that, I liked hanging out with them. I wanted to be with them as they do their job. I wanted to learn how they did their job. I wanted to understand what they went through, because then I felt I could be a better leader if I knew what kinds of things that they needed. Case in point, I was in command of a fuels unit, and I learned how to, I got my military version of the CDL by driving a fuel truck. And I was able to figure out that my crew did not have the right gear for working in the weather. Back then, the military was really big on Gore-Tex, and they thought it was the best thing since sliced bread. So they all got Gore-Tex. But what they don't tell you is after about an hour in the rain, it soaks through. It's not waterproof, it's water resistant. And I learned that very quickly being out on the flight line, refueling aircraft. And so then I went back to our supply guys. I was like, we got to do something better. And if I didn't go through that exercise working with my team, I would just be sitting in the office doing my normal job as an officer, and I wouldn't know any better. But it really helped me to better understand what my guys go through. And then I could help them in doing their job better. And I did that with every job I've had since. And I felt that it has been valuable for me, one, to learn them, and two, for them to learn where I'm coming from too. And now they feel more free to bounce ideas off of me, and I can feel free to bounce ideas off of them. And it made for a great synergy. Do not be afraid to talk to your people if you're in management. Do not be afraid to talk to your leader if you're not in management. having that open, honest discussion will go such a long way in helping you develop.
Yeah, Jonathan's question about what the hardest part of the industry. The hardest part is that the hard is a different hard every day. So if you go into the office thinking that the hard part's going to be your pickups, you won't have one call about a pickup, but you'll have tons of calls about deliveries. So that's what my answer would be, is if you're asking what's the hardest part of this supply chain, it's that the hard part changes daily.
Yeah, definitely coming expecting the unexpected, to quote Lil Wayne.
Always expect the unexpected. Correct.
Expect the worst, but pray for the best. And yeah, I would say the hardest part is really getting away from it, putting your phone down for a day. you can't. But it's fun. Like, you just have to have the right mindset. Like, it just goes back to shit's out of your hands sometimes, and things are gonna go wrong. But you like solving problems and having a different day of work every single day, and not being an accountant where you're just crunching numbers. You're in the right industry. So it'll be hard, but I don't think there's one exact answer to it. Just know that shit will inevitably go wrong somewhere along the lines.
Although Hunter did a great job when I called him all day and he was in Costa Rica, he never answered his phone once.
Never fucking answered. I know. It's such a shit.
I had other business to attend to, man.
Yeah, other bit there.
Shimmy
Shim.
And not answered my phone for work.
Yeah, Shimmy. We'll go with you. What is your if you know these two young men, Jonathan, Aniket? Jonathan is still in college. He's a junior in logistics. Aniket just graduated not too long ago with his master's in supply chain, and now he works as a demand planner in the petroleum industry. So, Jonathan's question, Shimmy, if you didn't hear, I don't think you did, was what is the hardest part about your job in logistics? What's the most difficult part, do you think?
Ooh, I'd have to agree. I mean, it changes every day. I mean, some days are super easy and some days aren't, but the hardest part would probably be that there's so much unpredictability, and that unpredictability could be something very tiny and but it could also be very massive with huge consequences. So, for example, last night I had an issue. I was working until 11 o'clock. It's end of month for me, and so for me, my ends of month are wild. Hunter knows this. I'm barely alive for anybody but my customers. But that also depends on your types of customers, right? But I had an unpredictable problem, and I had to solve it at night. And it was, if that problem hadn't been solved, it was $1 million problem. But so the hardest part is just, it's so, for me anyway, it's just the unpredictability, but it's also why I love it. It's why I love what I do, because of that. My days are different. I love to get to problem solve and figure out.
Who's typing so hard? Stop it.
Yeah. So that's for me. The unpredictability. Yeah, end of month is crazy for me. Not everybody though. I mean, I've got friends in the industry who's their end of month, they're like, why are you so stressed? But it really depends on the type of freight that you're moving or the customers that you have. For me, my end of months are insane. I could be working until midnight or 3 a.m. on some nights for the end of month stuff, like last night. But I hope that helps.
Nick, before we introduce you and we get to you, you're going to be last because you came on last. Guys, I will give you. I'll say two things are hardest about logistics. The first thing I'm going to bring up that of two here, being a fluid problem solver. I think that is probably one of the hardest things in logistics, is being able to pivot. Is once you think that you've got everything under control, everything's locked down, Jonathan, Aniket, you think, oh man, this fracking truck and this sand, it's going to be there on time. We've got everything going to according to plan, and the fucking truck burns down in the middle of the highway. What do you do? You know what I mean? Like that, I think is probably one of the hardest things for folks to overcome in logistics. is being fluid, being able to pivot and move and understand that, man. Actually, Mr. Dot said it earlier. You better have you need to have a plan B through Z. And that's for real, because man, sometimes plan B, C, D, E, F, G, 8 ain't gonna work. You're gonna have to make it all the way to plan M before you find some shit that makes the situation work. And so that one. The second one, time management. It is the hardest thing to master in logistics. Coincidentally, actually just went through part of the course with Nick Klingensmith here this morning, his time management course. Holler out to my boy here. But time management, guys, it really is, because you start off your morning, you're answering emails, you're making sure your freight or your guys, your drivers, whatever's set up for the day. You think things are going good, and then something else pops up, and then something else pops up, and something else pops up, and so forth and so on. And it's prioritizing and time management, putting the right amount of time onto the right things. And it changes every day. That's the crazy thing. One day you're going to spend more times on operation, John and Aniket. Like, that's what you do. The other part of it, the next day you're going to spend more time on sales and customer prospecting, and then it's going to be networking. So time management is a very, very hard thing, I think, to get under control in logistics. And it's because logistics is so unpredictable. So, a lot of us try to schedule out our days, and, just like me, I had a schedule for today, and before I knew it, it was 2:00 and I missed a meeting and had to reschedule stuff, all because shit popped up, and and my time wasn't managed properly. So yeah, those are the two things that I would give you, man.
I'd say because of the unpredictability too, one of the best things, not that my advice matters, but is always be proactive, because there's a lot of people who are not proactive and they're reactive in this industry, and you have to be proactive because you have to be ahead of it, and that's how you manage those and be prepared with those solutions. Always be proactive. Doesn't matter if you think it's going to go smooth. You anticipate it's not going to go smooth, and you be prepared always.
I agree.
Can I chime in on something?
Yeah, Nick.
I have a perspective, because obviously I joined late here, right? And I understand the question was, what's the toughest part of your job or toughest part of the role? But that's not what I was hearing. I was hearing a roadmap to be awesome in this job. You were talking about the need to be resilient, adaptability, right? Like process driven, like those are the things and traits to work on and develop that separate the winners from the losers. And there's one other X factor though, which is, and if I were to say the hardest part of it, is to understand you have to evolve and grow with the business, with the industry. You have to let go every single day. You have to let go of something else that you had already previously worked so hard to acquire if you're going to continue to grow. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck in place and sort of be one of those resentful people who just complain about it all the time. But there is so much opportunity in this business if you are willing to continuously adapt, continuously learn from other people. And then all those things that they're talking about, without, like, not for nothing, but all the chaos that Shimmy was talking about, that's why you make the big bucks. That's why there's money in this business. If it was smooth, most of us wouldn't exist. So anyways, that's my 2 cents.
And guys, I'm going to speak for Nick only because we know Nick intimately. And if I ask Nick to tell you his story, he'll fucking take over the show. But so just so you know,
I don't know if intimately was the word to use. Nick is a great friend.
See, there you go. There's people who don't own a fucking thesaurus and understand in the various aspects.
Well, I'm just saying that because every time he comes on, you're like, why do you have a shirt on? I mean, he does have a tank top on today. So he has
half
I had this on this morning too.
He has half a shirt this time. We got to give him credit. Hey, Nick has been in this industry for a while. He was one of the first people at a company called Blue Grace Logistics. They're very successful still in this day. Helped them build up. He was the VP of sales. Nick now does motivational speaking. He has already written 2 books that are available on Amazon. Just there you go. Selling Inspired. There you go. She's got it right there. Hey, there you go. So again, John, Aniket, I'll tell you, Nick Klingensmith. He's another one you guys want to follow. He's super smart, does a lot of great motivational stuff in this industry quite a while. But yeah, I know, Nick, you just pop in, you got all these fucking medals hanging on your wall, and they're like, who is this guy? Like is this dude like an Olympian? Like
Don't let him fool you. He's been collecting those since kindergarten.
I know. Just a guy who spent a lot of money to get his ass kicked on a lot of weekends.
That's so true. All right, Jonathan, Anakin, fire away. What's next? Let's go.
Oh, well, Jonathan must have more questions than me right now.
I think he froze.
No,
there he is.
No, I was just giving you a chance to have yours, Anakin. I don't know, it was a great learning from you. I actually had to leave soonish by 6, but one last question I could have. So I know some of you have jumped around. Why have y'all what led you guys to take the career path you have, and why'd you ended up liking, I'm assuming you guys love where you are now. So what led you there, and what made you stay?
Most people don't choose logistics. Logistics chooses you.
My wife chose it for me.
Facts.
Honest truth.
Most of us end up here by accident.
Yeah, I went to school for mechanical engineering, and they said you're not good at math. Try trucking, so I did that. Here I am.
I was a temp for
just a
6 weeks
salesperson.
and was supposed to be a massage therapist, and I have been here now for 14 years. So
I'm a salesperson who is process driven and was good at building teams, and it was the right place at the right time and with the right skill set. Like Shimmy said, it chose me, not the other way around. And long story short, but after 14 years, there was nothing left for me to build. So then I moved on to be a consultant for a while, because again, I would have just languished. You know, I'm the guy who needs to continue to evolve and learn and grow and do other things. And that's why one of the things that I remember talking to Pedro about this a couple months ago. We were talking about a lot of the negativity that you might see surrounding the industry, depending on certain market conditions and stuff like that. And I was like, you know what, though? I want you to look around right now. Look at all these other silos and things that continue to grow in this space. There's so much opportunity. It's not just about point A to point B anymore. You know, if you look outside that little micro, there's so much positive things and momentum in the industry.
Yeah, not only that, you learn to grow to love all the aspects of the supply chain when you participate in all the aspects. So as you grow in your career, like I've been in for over 40 years, and it just started, I joined the Air Force while I was in high school. I was only 17 years old, and they said, you should be a load master. So that's what I was. And then when I got out, I got another job in supply chain. Like I said, I pretty much loaded or unloaded every type of equipment there is in transportation. And it's just, staying in it and loving it and changing what you do. So I've been on the shipper side where I was an enterprise shipper, where I shipped millions of dollars of freight a year. I went to the carrier side, worked for a logistics company, and then, started a brokerage and a carrier. So all of those things, that's all the different sides, at least from the freight transportation standpoint. There's a lot more involved in supply chain than that, but that's mainly where I've concentrated on. I guess that's why my name's Papa Freight. I just move freight in every kind of thing any kind of equipment you can imagine. So you got to love it to bounce around like I did, being at a couple shippers, being at a couple carriers, and being at a couple brokerages to see the whole ramification of what freight transportation really is. And that's from domestic and global, distribution. So that would be my answer.
John in the chat says never stop learning, and he's right. I always tell people that in this industry, there's so much to this industry that you can literally learn something new every single day from so many people in the industry. And that's really beautiful about it, is that there's so many things you can do, so many things you can learn, so many ways that you can really make, even depending on where you land, a position to really fit what it is that helps you thrive as a person and as a business person. This industry has a lot of beautiful to it that I think that people get lost hearing about stress sometimes, but you really can learn something new every day. There's just so much to it. It's always changing.
I wouldn't say everyone's always happy all the time. You sometimes get to the point where you do burnout. Mm-hmm. It's going to happen. I myself, at this point in time, my primary job is as a dispatcher. I work for myself, it's my own company, and I'm burning out. I need to make a change, and I've been doing some side gigs. My fraud prevention program that I work on is something that I built. It's a side gig. I really enjoy the hell out of it. I would love to devote myself full time to it. I just don't have the opportunity now to do it, and I'm looking for an opportunity to do that full time. So, when you look at my LinkedIn profile, you're going to see that I'm actually actively hunting for a new position. So, and it's because I want to learn. I want to learn more. I want to get better at what I currently do. You're going to find yourself in that position. It's okay to keep yourself from feeling stagnant, to keep yourself from burning out, to shift around to something else that also interests you. Because again, all those experiences build each other up and turn you into what, by the time you get to be as old as Mr. Dickinson over there, turn you into an absolute master, a demigod, like he is. We can all only hope to have a mustache as grand as Mr. Dickinson,
and have hair on your head too.
Well, I've already lost that fight. That fight's long gone.
Bro, what you gotta do is you gotta go on Jeff's LinkedIn and check out that fucking throwback picture he put up today of him and his wife. Like, bro, Jeff has been pimping since pimping been pimping. Dude, you've been back in the 70s. Jeff had the same look, bro, and it is pimping. Dude, it so fits him. Like, Jeff, you can never change. You can never change.
No. When you're good looking, you're good looking. What can I tell you?
Rob, I know you can hear me, old man. Just hold on, brother. We're about to drop people, and you can come on and hang out with us because I know we're lucky to have you sitting in the back audience.
Yeah, gracing us with his presence.
I know, dude. I know y'all know him, bro. It's past his bedtime right now, dude. It's 7 o'clock.
Past it, well past it.
I know.
So,
well,
Jonathan, Anakin, give us a really tough question. Give us your toughest question that you can come up with. It could be anything to do with supply chain and logistics. Have at it.
Okay, I think this is the toughest one right now for me. Even though I'm starting up, and I've heard everyone say you don't really stop working, you're always working. It's hard to turn your phone down. But that is my hard question to you. How do I do that? Because I don't really want to do that all day, 24 hours. I want to go out there, go for a walk. But right now I'm being consumed by, I want to be best at this. But you have to stop that. So how do you do that?
Easy. And I never did that, and I sucked at it. So that's why what I'm about to tell you is gold. You need to put the phone down and give yourself your time, me time. You have to have balance in this industry, or you will burn out. You have to have family time. You have to have your self time. You have to have your business time. And you're always going to be on call. I mean, logistics is a 24/7, 365 job. You never know when something is going to happen, but you have to be there for your client or customers. You may have many when they need you. That's what they pay you to do. So on your free time, make that available. Just keep it with you. We all keep our phones with you, just like this. But go for a walk. Get out of the office. Walk around the block if you're working at home. Walk around your building a couple of times. Talk about something different outside of logistics and supply chain. Make other people feel more important than yourselves. Don't always make it about yourself. Find out about other people. Ask them those questions. It just breaks it up, because if you'll get so entrenched like I did, and it was wrong. And I missed out on a lot of family things, over 30 years because I was always flying and doing the wrong things. And that's why I put so much emphasis on it now, especially with the younger generation, is you have to break away. You must break away. I've seen so many disasters over the last 40 years. It's crazy. And that's why it's important for both of you to do that. Chisel out your own time.
I think it's important to note that yes, while most of us are available all the time or the majority of the time, it doesn't mean that you are actually doing something that time. It just means that we are available for that time. So for me, for example, everybody knows that end of month, I am legitimately working all the time, but that's because my customers require it. But most of the other days, I'm leaving here at 3 o'clock, and then if I need something, I just have my cell phone. I can do that. I have a lot of flexibility. I have a 5-year-old daughter and stuff. I can do those things. Am I available? Do I maybe have to take a call during something? Yes, but the majority of the time you're available, not working those times. So keep that in mind too, because there's a difference, obviously.
Yes.
And I do want to just cut in here. I do have to head out, but I appreciate getting a chance to meet everybody. I appreciate being on the show. And I'll see you guys later.
Nah, Jonathan,
Connect with me, Jonathan.
Hey, hold on. Before you go, Jonathan, real quick. I'm going to DM you, everyone on that has been on the show tonight, LinkedIn information. I'm going to say this one last time. LinkedIn, you need to be on there every single day. Just give it 10, 15, 20 minutes, man, and just scroll through and read stuff and get yourself entrenched in this. We're going to send you all these guys' info and Shimmy and Claudia, everyone that's been on the show tonight, and you connect with them, man, and use them. All of these people are going to be invaluable to you two gentlemen as you move forward through your career. I promise you, because they've been invaluable to me, and I've been in this shit almost 2 decades.
Don't be afraid to ask questions. We all ask each other questions all the time. I mean, I call Bill. Don't be afraid to ask questions.
Nope.
Oh, thank you,
Jonathan.
so much.
Thanks for coming on, bro. And hey, you got any questions, man? Just reach out to all of us and let us know, dude. Okay, and have a good weekend.
We'll do. You guys as well.
Cool, brother. Anakin, you can chill, man. Hang out with us, bro. We got more to tell you, man. We got more to tell you. Anakin is in the thick of it right now. Claudia, you're on stage. Claudia, just so you know, I know your camera's off, but I just want to let you know you're up on stage.
I can dip out. I gotta drive.
No, I mean you can, but whatever. It's good to see you, Shimmy.
Yeah, sorry. Work has been nuts, and like I said, it's end of month, so I have been absent, but I'm getting back. So I miss you guys, and I do have to go though. But I just wanted to pop on, and I'm glad I did. Good luck. Oh no, it's that way. Good luck, and I miss you all.
I'll pass that on. Oh, here you go. I'll pass
There you go. It's backwards. All right. Bye, guys.
Later. Mr. Carpenter. Oh my God, brother. We got you out of bed on a Friday night. Holy
I know,
shit.
right? I was gonna say 7 o'clock was gonna be it. I had to postpone the melatonin gummies for a little while, and but we're all right. I didn't want like other people older than me to be out here hanging out by themselves. So here we are. And did somebody just lie to them and tell them like you have a day off or something in this industry?
What?
No.
Did somebody just lie to that guy and tell him that he had a day off? Like you can get a day off in transportation? Like that exists?
This is Earth, all right? Go back to your planet, man.
Anakin, all I can tell you, man, about what you were asking for, man, is it goes back to time management. And I'll tell you, I've been a logistics man. I was a truck driver for 10.5 years. I missed everything. I was home for sure 2 days a year, Thanksgiving and Christmas. That's it. And I was in the military before that. And let me tell you, the military doesn't give a shit about your birthdays or your holidays. They don't give a fuck. But dude, I think Shimmy said it best, Anakin. Be available. Dude, you're not going to work at 9 o'clock at night, but logistics never stops. And you just got to understand that. So, man, there's going to be times where problems are going to arise, or maybe just someone has a question, Anakin. Maybe someone else is working at 9 o'clock at night and they don't know what they're doing. And they're like, oh, man, like this is definitely a question for Anakin. You know, it's going to take 30 seconds or 5 minutes of your time, man. So, and to touch what Jeff said, you just have to find time for yourself. This is a very, very demanding industry, man. It is, but it's very rewarding, man. We make the country move. Without all of the just us 9 people on screen here, we stop doing what we're doing, we could seriously impact the country. Just us 9 people right here. I mean, for real, like massive amounts of freight would stop if we decided to take 2 days off, because most of us do with single source customers, which means they only use us for their logistics. So yeah, man, just be available, man. You're going to have days where you're working till 9, 10 o'clock at night, and that shit's going to suck. But then you're going to have times where, like Shimmy said, you're going to be done with your workday at 10 a.m. and at noon, you're going to be sitting somewhere, you know, just chilling, hanging out, not doing anything. And that's also the beauty of this job, is you can work from anywhere. Any part of logistics, as long as you've got a laptop or a really good smartphone and a good team. I'll say that, and a good team. You can work from anywhere, man. Literally
and a boss
anywhere.
that will let you.
Yeah.
You know what, Anakin, you need to talk to this gentleman right here. This guy, he's a good friend, Papa Freight. He's in the trenches. He's not an owner. He is a working owner who takes his trucks out, goes all over the country. You talk about him not being around his family for like months, doing military installations all over the country. Yet this man finds a way to take his time. He'll go to shows. He'll go see this. He'll do all that because he's out there. He's never seen that area. It's like, okay, on my free time, I'm going to go out there and explore and whatever. But I need to be back at the job site at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning and continue what I need to do. I might be doing it for 7, 8, 9, 10, 14 days straight. Talk to this guy right here. Go, Papa Freight. Tell him.
Yeah, Anakin. Thanks, Jeff. All I can say is, you know, in 2018, when I got a contract with the government, we actually deliver in all 50 states. And so I actually travel around with my teams and do those, actually perform the installations and do the deliveries and drive around. And all I can say is, you know, everybody talks about a work and a life balance, right? In logistics, I think it's almost a work-life segregation, because literally I've been with my wife sitting on a lake in Washington State with our laptops out and a phone talking to customers. And we literally had people jogging and walking by us going, well, isn't that great? You get to work right by a lake. You know what I mean? So but it's that perception. It's that perception that, wow, you know, what kind of job do you have that you can sit by this lake and, you know, fish or whatever, but you have your laptop out, you've got your headset on, you are talking to customers. I mean, that happens. So we understand that we sacrifice our time. We may be working at 7 or 8 at night, but there's times from 2 to 5 in the afternoon or in the morning where really we're just living that culture where, yeah, we're available if something really important happens or needs to be taken care of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But by the same token, you do have some flexibility. I'm not saying that's in all jobs. There's a lot of jobs where you wouldn't, but at some point in logistics, if you really do live the logistics lifestyle, you will find yourself doing things or going to a game or a concert or, you know, taking your grandbabies. You know, I have grandkids, so we go out trick-or-treating, right? I mean, all those things happen. You're not always doing logistics, you know? So,
Yeah.
But, you know, we found a way to try to just live a lifestyle that allows us to manage the logistics, but at the same time, enjoy ourselves and do things. And we've been able to see concerts and things in places, you know, I live in Arizona, but you know, last time I was up in New York area, I stopped and had lunch with Jeff, you know, and I just get to go all around the country and get to meet different people, you know, and that's great, you know.
I want to add, that also that logistics, Anakin, like it can become a part of your personal life too, man. Like there are so many things that go on in this industry to give you time to where you think you're working, but man, you're just having fun and you're hanging out and you're networking with people. And there's people here that are so crazy connected. Like we have met people that have gone to NASCAR events, NFL games, concerts, all this crazy shit just because someone they know in logistics has an in or a connection or whatever. So it takes time, man.
Right.
It really does. You're new to
Awesome.
this industry. Go ahead. Sorry, Nick.
No, I'm sorry. You and I were talking about this morning. We were talking about how when we talked about aligning your profession to serve your purpose or your personal interest instead of the other way around. And I take a fairly contrarian point of view to a lot of the hustle culture that isn't logistics, because I believe it's about priorities. And if you do not make yourself number one, it really doesn't matter what number two is. And we talk that game. And at the same time, when I talked about growth and having a sacrifice, I'm not taking the call at 3 a.m. It's on silent. I'm sleeping. If I lose the shipment, if I lose a customer, number one, I have to prepare for this, right? Like things I do in advance to make sure that I'm not leaving a customer out to dry. You know, if I'm going on vacation for 5 days, man, I went to Cuba on purpose because I had no ability to be communicated with from the outside world. So I made preparations and none whatsoever. It was amazing. My phone was a camera, and that was it. So I call it making a doctor's appointment with yourself. And I will tell you, as a 4-time cancer survivor and a diabetic and just a number of other things, I used to fail at this miserably. I would cancel appointments. I would cancel my cancer appointments because I didn't want to leave the office for 2 hours. That is the dumbest shit anyone's ever done in the history of the world for something stupid. We're going to be in this for the long game. Sometimes I'm going to have to sacrifice something because I can't be all things to all people. But that said, it can be a big priority. And if you understand how it serves your life, both professionally, personally, et cetera, like when I was at Blue Grace for 14 years, I had no problem being like making that my life, because again, that's where so many of my relationships, friendships, network, life experiences were all coming from that. It served me in so many areas that it wasn't like I just worked around the clock. It was the life that I was building.
Well, I think what you said earlier about the hustle mentality, the hustle culture of the U.S. and I mean it happens other places too, but I think all of it's going to go back to priorities. Like I don't have mine in line yet. Like I just canceled a doctor's appointment 2 weeks ago, so I could be out of town to work, but and I still do it. So it's like,
well, I mean, if it's just timing, that's one thing.
Well, I think it comes down to no, I scheduled it on the day of the doctor's appointment, but I think it goes to priorities. But I think more than that, it goes to the root of like what causes hustle, the whole hustle culture, the whole hustle mentality. So if you've ever been, I mean, if you started at the down and outs and you just not had, and you're trying to like get yourself out of that bucket, you don't necessarily leave that bucket behind just because you make $500,000 a year. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter how much money that I make. My mind is still trapped in a hustle mentality of not falling back in the bucket, right? So I think you have to, that's the root of the hustle mentality. So I think you have to address that piece to say, all right, Rob's now a diabetic as of this week. Rob's got all these other issues, but it all comes from stress, high pressure, junk diet, constantly on the go, never sitting down to eat. You know, it's that 120-hour-a-week grind every week until you're 42 and you got diabetes. So you've got to find a way to level it out. And I didn't figure it out until I was 42, and I haven't figured it out really yet. Maybe next year, but I think you just have to make it a priority. And I think so many of us focus on the financial aspect exclusively, like health be damned. And my grandfather was a great example of it. Like he was born in 1918, and all throughout my childhood, he was told, like, if you keep spraying these chemicals on your crops, you are going to die. And you know what he did? He kept going out and spraying his crops with chemicals every year because that's the only way he knew for sure that he was going to have a harvest. So it was like priorities were get the harvest, not stay alive for the next one. So it kind of bleeds over to us, and
yeah,
it's kind of
also determining what is a priority.
I think all of us in this group have that same problem. We're all very driven. We're all very goal-oriented. And we end up taking ourselves for granted when we do that. So by all means, try to find something you enjoy that you can do when you turn yourself off. Try to find something that goes along with self-care. Self-care is very important. You know, one of the things that I like to do, and I don't get to do it very often, I love to get a good pedicure. And then I love to get bright colors painted on my toes when I do it.
And he loves a good head waxing. He loves a good head waxing.
I go to Barney's Bolorama and I stick my head in the ball polisher there, and it comes out nice and shiny.
I knew it.
So take care of yourself, though. That's the point, though. Take good care of yourself, because if you take care of yourself, you'll be able to take care of your families, and ultimately it will help you with your job down the road. But I think we're all in this room guilty of not putting time where it's supposed to be. In fact, with that being said, I wish you the very best, because I'm going to go and spend some time with my wife now. So take care, everyone. Please enjoy your weekend. If you haven't voted yet, get out and vote. And I will catch you all on my show on Monday. See you guys.
Bye, John.
Adios. Have a good weekend.
Hey, my battery's about to die here, but I got one last thought on this for you. Determining what is actually a priority, what is actually urgent versus important when it comes in, knowing what the difference, you see that email that comes in, knowing what the difference between something that can wait until the next day to respond to, because nobody's ever got extra credit by saying, hey, I got your RFP request faster than anybody else. Knowing what, a billing issue that can wait till Monday, or something that needs to be a 911 where you get everybody involved right away. Because and knowing how to batch those issues together, that way, like, everything is more timely, and just putting those boundaries out in place. Because also, the very moment you start dropping everything to respond to everything, you just set the expectation with that relationship.
Yeah.
So,
like, communicate, that way everybody's got the same expectation, and know what the difference between a emergency, a crisis, a priority, and something that can wait a couple hours.
Hey guys, I got to get going myself. So everybody have a great weekend. Etiquette, make sure you link up with me. You have any questions at any time, feel free to reach out, and I'll get back to you. I promise. All right.
Good luck. Have a great weekend, Jeff.
Thank you. Feel better, bro.
See you.
Jeff.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Later, Nick.
Nick.
Poor Jeff went to the BCS and got the convention cough.
I meant to ask Nick, did he do the Project 61 thing? I haven't looked on there on the step challenge thing that started today. I was like, I hope Nick doesn't get into it. I'll definitely lose.
Dude, that motherfucker runs like 4 miles a day or something, dude.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good.
Like, holy shit, man. That guy's crazy.
No, I'll look at this watch and I'll be like, Jeremy Raymer will hit me up. He'll be like, I don't see your steps on the chart yet. What are you doing? Get it together, buddy. And it's like, look, bro, I got things to do. But usually I'll try to get them in. But I don't know. I think a lot of it in the industry goes to priorities, no matter what.
I've heard some people are on that thing doing like 30 or 40,000 steps a day. I'm like, what fucking job do you have to where you're able to walk like,
in a warehouse?
like for perspective, 10,000 steps is 5 miles. Yeah. Like, what job do you have where you're getting 30,000, 40,000 steps a fucking day, buddy? Holy shit.
I ordered one of these under the desk treadmills, and I think that's how they're doing it. Like, I've been on some calls with Motor this week, and Manny, this guy is in marketing. The dude, the whole time, the whole call, he's doing this right here. And I'm like, this dude walks the entire freaking 2-hour meeting. And I don't know how many steps that is, but it's an incredible amount of walking this guy does every day. But I'm like, how do you do this without having to hit the backspace key every time you take a step? You can't be doing any keyboard work.
I'll say at an average walking pace, an hour equates to about 3 miles. So at 2 hours, you probably busted out 6 miles.
Yeah, I do. When I go on my walks, I do 3 miles in like 50 minutes or something like that. So yeah, Hunter, you're right. You're right on cue. Yeah. So there you go. I really don't. I don't know how they're chopping it out, man.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just like putting their bracelet on their dogs or something, letting their dogs run around.
I thought about it with my kids. Like, look, dude, you got gym today. Put this on.
Yeah.
But sometimes I look at it and it's like, dang, dude, I only walked 2,000 steps today, the whole day. And then I'll get up and walk. But I don't know.
Maybe they're short.
You know what's cool about that, Rob, is if you didn't see that, you probably wouldn't have gotten up and walked.
No, yeah, that's true. And one thing that since Jeremy's been on my case, he kind of has constantly reminded me. So I don't know if he sits there and watches it all day, but I'll get a text out of the blue. It's like, hey, it's 11 o'clock. You've only got 300 steps. But I've gotten to the point now where I'll just get up and walk, and that was unheard of, before this whole thing started. So I don't know.
You have to have one of the watches to do it, or will my phone pick it up?
No, your phone will pick it up.
Well,
yeah.
Okay.
But you gotta have your phone on you at all times. That's the thing. It only picks it up.
I usually have two phones on me at all times, so we're set.
But dude, I'm telling you, I love the watch, bro. Like, I'm serious. I've got like $100-$200 Echo watches just sitting in my fucking bedroom that don't get any use anymore.
Dude, let me get one. I lost my Apple Watch. I need one.
I bought they're Echo watches, like the brand Echo. They're actual watches, like watch.
Not step counters.
Not step counters. But what my point was is once I got like a digital watch, a Samsung watch, I was like, I won't go do. I would be lost without this thing, bro. I'm serious. I am fucking dude. This is the most important thing in my life as far as business, because there is nothing like being able to just, oh, okay, yeah, that's not important. That's not important. That's fucking stupid. You know, I love these things, man. They're good for so much.
Well, where I fell off the wagon with these things, it's kind of like on a diet. Like, you're great on a diet, and then you got this kid's birthday party with a bunch of 9-year-olds on a Saturday. Yeah. You eat the one cupcake, and that's it. For like the next week, you eat 5 cupcakes a day, every day. And I don't know how you get to that mindset, but it happens. And with this watch, when the battery dies and I have to take it off to plug it in, it's like the hardest thing in the world to get that thing back on my wrist, because it's like it's out of sight, out of mind, and you just forget about it. But I started looking at these Aura rings, and I almost bought one. And then I'm starting to think, like, wait a minute, I'm 280. Like, if I drop to 220, that ring isn't going to fit anymore. I'm going to have to buy another $400 ring. So I kind of put that off for a minute. I'm like, maybe I need to get skinny before I buy the ring, but then what's the point? So I don't know. You got to track them some kind of way.
I think the watches are the way to go, man. And let me just say, hey, we're freestyling it right now. Dude, you can hang with us. We want you to hang out with us. Just listen to us bullshit. But if you want to go, you can go. Do not feel like you need to. But bro, we want you here. You want to chill with us. We're just going to sit here and talk shit as a bunch of logisticians. I think the watches. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I have to go. This was great. Thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate you guys giving me advice. I have everything noted down, but Pedro, please send me a link for everyone, and then I'm going to reach out to everyone.
I will, man.
Thank you, everyone.
And you know, hey, make sure. And again, I don't know if you actually follow us yet, the lounge, but man, go follow us, man. Watch our content, because we do more than just podcasts. Hunter and I, we put out all kinds of informative stuff. All the people that were on here tonight, we share their posts. You know what I mean? And we want to have you back, man. Like this is not just a one and done. We want to bring you back every Friday. We kind of just hang out in here, and you never know who's going to show up. I mean, we have truck drivers, we have shippers, we have tech people, all kinds of stuff, man. And that's what this space is. It's all about learning. So you go enjoy your weekend, and I'll send you that link. And dude, don't be afraid to come back on, man. We want you to come back and hang out with us.
Yeah, I'd love to. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nice meeting you.
Congratulations on becoming a lounge lizard, Anakin.
Yeah, brother. Yeah.
It's a term of endearment. That's what we call
it. It's a term of endearment. 100%. Have a good weekend, Anakin. Thanks, brother.
Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.
You too, man. Before I continue, I just want to say, hey, Hunter, you and I were talking about Nathan earlier. So hey, that's where I met Anakin and Jonathan, was in that first thing that Nathan Cheney did.
Supply Chain Social Club. That shit's
the
so
Supply Chain
cool.
Social Club. Yes, that's where I met them. So the Supply Chain Social Club. Claudia, Catherine says, "Hey, Claudia, I was so glad to meet you and hug you in person." But hey, what I was saying, Rob, I think the watches are the way to go, man. I really do. Whether you're Apple, Samsung, whatever, I think the watches are the way to go, man. Because they measure so much stuff, and it goes back to what kind of what you said. I mean, you don't have to worry about buying, more than one as you lose weight or upgrade or whatever. You know what I mean? So I like the watches because they're multi-purposeful, man. I would be dead.
Dude, I used to wear mine every day, and then I moved and I lost it in storage.
I'm telling you, it's those little events that hit you, and it's like once it's off, it's like it does not go back on.
Dude, well, see, I want to touch on something, Rob. So you said you went to a kid's birthday party, ate a cupcake, and then you ate cupcakes all throughout the week. So it sounds like you're stealing cupcakes from kids' birthday parties.
No, the problem is
That's
this
unethical.
is Costco. Have you seen these cupcakes at Costco, bro? I mean,
I'm a Sam's Club guy.
I'm telling you, do not start at Costco. The cupcakes are like this freaking big, and if you buy one pack, you might as well buy another pack because you're gonna be like, hey, I should have got. So you end up going back. So I've had to cut out Costco trips. Like I have sent my wife to. I can't do Costco anymore. So, anyway, it's priorities, man. Priorities.
Rob's got an addiction to cupcakes. That's an amazing.
Like okay, I was talking to my doctor the other day. I got put on this Dexcom patch, the diabetes monitoring thing.
Oh shit!
And these are the coolest things. If you ever can get one on, it's not good that you're on it, but it's really cool to watch what happens with your body when you eat these cupcakes or whatever you're going to eat. But anyway, my doctor was telling me the same thing. It's like priorities. That's your problem. Is like health just hasn't mattered to you historically. So you just like we were telling that guy, he's got to get his priorities right.
Oh yeah, eat cupcakes, go to bed early.
That's it. Get up at 2 a.m., 3 a.m.
That's what I need to start working on when I go to bed, bro. I'll tell you, my fucking sleep pattern is so messed up, Rob, bro. Oh my god, because I sit in front of this thing, I do brokering all day, till whatever 3, 4, 5 o'clock, whatever the case may be, and then after that it's the lounge. So I'm sitting here till 8, 9, 10 o'clock every night, and then I'm one of those people, dude, that I have to have fucking me time at the end of the day. Like I have to, whatever it is I'm interested, whether it's watching an hour of TikTok or sitting in the TV and watching a documentary, or which right now I just want to say I'm on Air Warriors on Paramount. It is about aircraft, and I'm so fucking addicted to that show right now. So I fall asleep to every night. But like I have to have me time, dude. And so I don't get to sleep till 11, 12, 1 o'clock at night because I have to have that time for myself. And then my internal clock, I still have to be up at like 5, 6 a.m. every day. Yeah. And dude, my sleep pattern is so fucking messed up, dude. I'm to the point now, some days I literally take a nap during the middle of the day because I only had like 4 hours of sleep and I'm trying to operate. Oh man, it's
that was one of the best things about ELD. Like I hated it, like going from loose leaf to ELD. But when I was on loose leaf, I don't even know when I slept. I would wait, I could feel myself S-ing across the road, and I'm like, hey, it's definitely time to pull over. But it was so much cheating going on at that point in time with people with loose leaf and paper logs. It was like it was dangerous, but it was like it really went back to priorities, right? Like your goal was to make money, not to make sure that your hours are right. So sleep thing's important. And Nick and somebody else was harping on me about the sleep thing, but I see your topic, Hunter, Truck Parking Club. What's going on with Truck Parking Club?
Oh, well, we check out LinkedIn. I don't want to talk about that on here, but long story short, drivers are tearing them up for getting in on some of the pilots and flying J's and
but it's not the pilots and flying J's. That's not what it is.
I know. But then someone pulled up a picture of like someone pulled up a picture of one of their old employees like 2 months ago that parked in a truck parking spot, and it's just shit getting rehashed.
That just shows you.
But they've been on blast for like a month now, dude.
I know people are trying to kill it, but I think everybody, well, at least half of us on here have probably driven trucks. So it's, for me, I never had to pay for parking. Like a lot of times it just came down to like planning my day, planning my trip, when I was going to stop, where I was going to stop. Obviously you got stuff that comes up that's going to change that. Like, you can't help that, but I just never have had to pay for it. But, one of the good things about it from a driver perspective is like cargo securement right now in terms of security theft is huge right now. So it's like, if I'm going to pay $10 to $15 a night for parking, I'd a million times more I would rather pay $10 or $15 a night to park in a secure lot that's fenced, gated, locked, rather than have $100,000 claim that somebody just broke in the trailer and stole some crap. So I think you just got to look at the goods and the bads of it. But to me, I like it, not just for that, but enforcement reasons and other reasons. So I don't know. Parking's a hot topic, but I think it depends on what drivers you ask. Objectively, I think it definitely has some pros to it.
Oh, 1000%. And they're even talking about, some of these smaller mom and pop shops, drivers will park at their parking lot and then they'll walk across the street to the bigger truck, the truck stop. And, they're not spending a single dollar, but that truck parking club's not going in there and taking up every single space at every single fucking, truck stop. That's impossible. But
yeah,
like you said, though,
it's people driving. I'm sorry to cut you off, man. But man, this shit gets passionate with me, bro. One of our sponsors is paid truck parking. I'm telling you, I'm with you, Rob. I never paid for truck parking when I was a driver, even though I used to go to the Northeast a lot. I would always make sure I fuel where there was paid truck parking, because if you fuel, it's automatically free. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I always made sure that if I was going to go somewhere, I would call dispatch, say, "Hey, open up my fuel card just so I can get 50 fucking gallons." Even if I know I didn't need it, if I had room to fit that 50 gallons, I was going to fit that 50 gallons. You know what I mean? Or put that in there. Or I would go inside and get a shower. And even if you got a free shower, as long as you presented that ticket saying you took something and you did something in there, most places will let you park for free. Here's the issue with it, man, is for one, you talk about the cargo securement. That is a huge thing. You are totally right. B, these truck stops, man, they fill up 3, 4, 5 o'clock at night. And the majority of these drivers, let's go back to what you said again, Rob, fucking time management. A lot. And again, you can't plan every day perfectly, but if you at least attempt, you could be able to position yourself to be in a place, to be able to get a parking spot and even a shower.
Well, that's where truck parking club can come in. Same with Freight Ninja. You reserve your spot and you show up and you have a spot.
Well, dude, no, just like me, man. When I drove, I mean, and again, sometimes things happen and stuff. I planned my trip as soon as I got a load across my Qualcomm, which that's how old I am. I don't even use Qualcomm anymore. As soon as I got a load across my fucking Qualcomm or my PeopleNet, I don't even know if PeopleNet is even in business.
Oh, it's around.
Rob, you know what I'm talking about. I see you smiling, Rob.
PeopleNet?
No, Rob knows what I'm talking about. I see him smiling. He knows what he's like.
Like the first MySpace, PeopleNet.
Bro, Rob knows what I'm talking about. Anyway, as soon as I got that shit, man, I was planning, dude. I was looking, what's my route? What are the shipping hours? What are the receiving hours? When can I get there? What route am I going to take? Where can I stop? What can I do this? And I made sure that I did that to a T to where I could get to where I needed to be. And even if I knew I was going to be running somewhere late, I would adjust my time and be like, okay, I may be running in the middle of the night, so I need to set myself up to end my day or my night at about 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, because that's when the truck stops are going to start to be being emptied out. And there's going to be tons of spots, and I'm going to be able to find a place without having to worry about that. Again, things happen, but here's the deal. The government, I don't give a shit what any of these clowns out there say about the government giving money. Let's be real. If you know anything about this government, it is going to take years for that money to be funneled down to even the local level. And then when it gets there, you know what's going to happen? The $50 million that some local entity or state is going to get for truck parking, they're going to funnel off 25 million of it to some bullshit that ain't got nothing to do with truck parking, and they're going to get bonuses or kickbacks to their political people. And then we're going to get 25 million. And out of that 25 million, they're going to spend 15 million on research and engineering. And in the end, all that's going to count to like a couple, 3, 4, 5, 10 million. And you know what they're going to do with it? They're going to build rest stops. That's what they're going to do. That's what y'all don't understand. These states are not going to build secure truck parking places with lighting and gate access and amenities. They're going to build rest stops, dummies. Think about that. That's what they're going to do, rest stops. And then they're going to bring in vendors who can fill their little vending machines and do all their power and everything. This is all a money move, man. This is what people don't understand. It's going to take the private sector, people like Freight Ninja and truck parking that are going to solve this. And all you owner operators out there, you know, the truck parking, that's going to be a tax write-off on your business, right? That's what that is. I know it sucks to pay it, but it's a tax write-off. And also, if you know that you need to pay for it, start putting that stuff into your rates. Brokers, maybe y'all.
Oh, hey, another thing on this,
There you
man,
go,
company drivers, if their company's not paying for it, you're working
I
for a
agree with
shit
that.
fucking company.
I agree with that too, Hunter.
And that's
I
another
agree
big
with- I
thing,
was just
man.
about to touch on that, man. A lot of these company drivers say, "Oh, well, my company doesn't pay it back." Well, you need to have that discussion with your company. Have you had that discussion with them? Because a lot of these companies will pay for pre-pass. They'll reimburse your scales. Why aren't they reimbursing you for paid truck parking to protect their customers' freight company drivers? That's not your freight. That is their customers' freight. They should be working those things into those rates as well. All I'm saying is y'all can hate on truck parking all you want, but it isn't necessarily even, just like brokers are a necessary thing in this industry, just like dispatchers. Everyone has their role. And to be clear, like, not everyone's making all this killer money off truck parking. Like, I mean, seriously. And actually, I'm gonna just end with this. That, because I go off attention with this. For all of you out there bitching about truck parking, where the fuck is your solution? Quit your whining, your complaining. Quit your whining and your fucking complaining on LinkedIn and X. And all of you know who I'm talking about. Where's your solution? You sit here and talk shit about truck parking people, but we don't see you in none of these events bringing forth solutions and solving fucking problems. Where's it at? Where's it at? Because that's what you do. You whine, you complain, and you do nothing to solve the problem. Then that's the problem in itself. That's the problem itself. Stop being a complainer and be a problem solver. Bam, I'm done. I can't drop my mic because it's attached, but mic drop.
I think the problem with this, and it's not just truck parking. It's a lot of different things that we talk about and debate about. But it's about being objective, like being able to actually look at both sides of something and saying, hey, you know, there's a good side and maybe there's a bad side, and then at the end you come out with something that's really an objective. Hey, this is a good thing, or not. But the way I look at it from both driver and what I do in terms of claims and DOT compliance, risk management, it's like it's got a lot more goods than it has bads. The only two things that I'll say about it that I do not like is its ability to pollute free parking into paid parking, which I don't like that aspect.
Agree.
Because I think we pay an outrageous amount of money at truck stops for just most of the time trash stuff. And if you're paying that kind of money, your parking should be free. But it kind of goes back to like showers. The next argument they come up with is, oh, showers aren't free. We got to pay for our showers. Like, you get 75 gallons of fuel, your shower is free. Like, maybe you can sell that to somebody that doesn't drive trucks, but like, that's, you know, objectively how it works. So everybody's going to have their gripe. It's just, if you're going to gripe objectively and be able to look at both sides of it, see it for what it is, on a factual basis, not a self-serving subjective basis. And that's what I've seen a lot of.
I'm with that, Rob. And I'll tell you, don't get me on the shower thing. You and I have both been drivers. You still currently drive at times for your customers. And I mean, I'll say I don't see a need to be charging. I don't even know what a shower costs now. But when I drove, it was $10. And even then I think that's a lot, but I could say that's fair. There is no reason to be charging a driver $18 an hour to, as the saying goes in the military, to wash your ass. That's ridiculous.
I think showers now are sitting around like $20 to $30.
Dude, that's
and then
bullshit.
They have the rewards programs, which you get
the reward stuff works, but the problem with that is the majority of these fuel cards that even the ones the company drivers use, they have deals with certain truck stops. It may be TA or Petro, it may be the Flying Hook or in the Pilot brand or Loves, and that's where the problem is if you do all your fueling at the Flying Hook and Pilot, but you've got to stop one night at a Petro, and like, you're shit out of luck. You better pray to God you got some dude wipes, or you know how to make a filled shower and wash your butt. You know what I mean? So that's the issue. But I mean, the driver shower thing, that one I could also get on. Like, I feel that's ridiculous. And they say the cost, like, dude, you bring in at least 200 drivers a day, paying you $10 an hour, $10 a shower. You know, I mean, you're trying to tell me that doesn't pay your fucking water bill for the entire month? Yeah, I don't think so. Even for a truck stop, like let's be real here.
Look, just take your shower at the fuel island. I mean,
I know that's
they got a water hose and a squeegee out there. I see someone doing it. So,
we will pay good money. We will pay good money. Good money, as long as it's family appropriate to watch you take a shower at the fuel island.
Dude, I might do it just for the publicity of it next time I run out.
Yeah, but the parking thing, man, I think it's just where what it's coming to, man. It sucks. And you know the funny thing about all of the people that do parking, you know, including our sponsor, they all hate they have to be in that business. They all do. You think that they don't, but
Freight
they
Ninja
do.
buys their properties though.
Yeah, that's
and
it.
they offer overflow parking, trailer storage, and they have CDL schools on some of their properties.
And we'll bring
and
it
maintenance
back.
shops. And maintenance shops.
Well, hey, we'll bring it back even more. The owner of Freight Ninja, used to be a driver, and that's why he started his company, because he saw that there was nowhere out there to park. And we talk about paid truck parking here. Let's bring this back to reality. I stopped driving in 2018, and even in 2018, there was not one free truck stop to park at in the Chicago area, unless you went down to like Romeoville or Joliet, which is a good 45 to an hour minute drive without traffic to the distribution points within Chicago. You go to the Northeast, our friend John, I can never pronounce his last name right, but our friend John, he lives in the Northeast, and he's a driver, and he's like, dude, I pay for parking everywhere, even in my car. Like, I'm just used to it. That's just the way it is up here. You know, trucks, it's the way it is. And I think that it's just a lot of drivers haven't dealt with it as much because they haven't been in those areas and seen it. And again, I'm not promoting it. I'm just saying, hey, look, you know, it's just the way it is. It always takes the private sector, and this is where we're at. And what it's going to take to make it easy and acceptable and affordable is we're going to have to start building that stuff into rates. Drivers, build that stuff into your rates. Brokers, you know, I mean, I can't say brokers because you never know.
It would be pretty easy to bake in $30.
$30, yeah, bro.
On your rate, you know, like, hey.
I mean, guys, we're talking about the same thing that's happened. I mean, it's like this in all parts of our industry, right? It takes a civilian side to get involved and get in it and start to fix it before like the government even comes close to catching up. Like we know how behind the FMCSA was on trying to vet new entrant carriers and to keep up with audits and actually like follow up on, I mean, how fucking long does it take to follow up on a complaint that you submit to the FMCSA? I'm telling you right now, if someone ain't doggone bleeding and about to die, they're probably not interested in dealing with that right now. And I'm not talking shit. Like, they're busy AF. Like, it's a thing. But they were so far behind, and then all of these carrier vetting companies starts popping up in different places in the industry trying to fix a problem that the government like obviously hadn't been able to handle yet. And so like, the civilian factor is that, hey, like, good changes are coming with the FMCSA and registrants and all that kind of stuff. But the civilian side's led the way. And that's what's happening on the parking side. Like, all different parts of it, like, shit's fucking broken. And we start to fix it on the civilian side. And then eventually maybe we can get the rest of it caught up. But that's time and time again.
I mean, we learned that the broker carriers, some of the FMCSA is about 30 years behind the curve here. You know, they're just now getting facial recognition that TSA's had for maybe 15 years. I don't know. But truck parking, I mean, if you can ask for an extra $150 for deadhead, you can damn sure well ask for an extra $40 for parking. Not crazy. And it's something that's being brought up. You know, it's one of those things. It's inevitable. It's happening. Like, truck parking club's not the only one. Freight Ninja's not the only one. There's people that have been doing this for years.
Yeah.
It's always been an issue. But also, like, who wants to fucking sleep on an off-ramp? That shit, like, you see trucks here sitting at a freaking 40-degree angle, or I don't know. I don't know what the angle would be, but like, that can't be comfortable. And talk about theft, people just pull up. Hey, I'm gonna bust in your trailer, and then I'm hitting the road. I'm gone. Or, you know, you got some drunk dude, boom, hitting your truck, then you're stuck. Like,
well, I think the theft thing is the theft and claims piece is the biggest piece for me, and then you've got enforcement. So, like, I've got a video when I was coming back from Indiana. and I was riding through Ohio, and I mean, they had literally a state trooper behind every truck that was parked on the ramp, knocking on their door and saying, "Hey, pull up into the parking lot," and then getting a DOT inspection. So, say every one of them got a ticket for whatever, and not a violation, a real ticket, and you got to go to court, and your time off work to fight that in court, or pay the ticket, or what the violation actually does to your CSA scores.
Mm-hmm.
You could have avoided that if you were parked in a locked, gated, secured lot. No state trooper is going to be rolling up on you, and just for parking. I mean, obviously they could go there if they wanted to. We had this debate on LinkedIn recently, but not arguing they don't have jurisdiction to kind of go there, but they're not going to be doing it because you parked there. They're not waking you up at 5 a.m. to come do a truck inspection. So those off ramps are famous for that. You're right there. So it's got a huge amount of pros to it, but it's like everything else.
So I'm going to say something to the brokers out there. My own team. Listen, here's the thing, that when a truck is asking for that amount of dollars more, when we're talking about shipping a high value shipment, or whether you're talking about, I mean, honestly, at any point, right? I'm not just saying high value, but if we're speaking specifically to claim and theft issues, right? Like, then don't be a jerk about it. Give them the fucking $40 or $60 it's going to take for them to park 2 or 3 nights, and be like, know that your shit is secure. Like,
yep.
Do it.
And I think a lot of them would look at it like, yes, it is our freight, but it's not our responsibility once the carrier has it in their hands, so they should eat it. But I think if you're, again, going back to the objective nature of just any discussion, seeing it both ways, and then even if you split it down the middle and say, hey, carrier, you pay half, I'll pay half, you could get somewhere with it, but it also depends how objective the person you're talking to is. So
yeah, I was about to say that $40 could be the difference, because you never know what driver you're dealing with. That $40, they just might get pissed off and be like, I'm not delivering your freight until you give me an extra $200. I know we've all dealt with that shit. And then it's like, no, you're not. I'm going to call the police. And then it's the back and forth, and you're stressed out over $40 fucking dollars and losing your fucking customer potentially. So I don't know. It's dumb, but I agree with you, Claudia. Like, I think, you got these bigger brokerages that don't really teach these kids how to, that like nobody really knows the intricacies and the issues that are going on in this industry. Like, I guarantee you go to a TQL office and you ask 30 of their employees, what's one of the top 3 biggest issues in this industry? Not a single one of them will say truck parking. They probably don't even think that truck's parked. They're like, oh yeah, they pick it up and they just drive straight there.
They don't even know the current rates, let alone those.
Yeah, they just look at DAT or whatever's in their fucking system, and it's like, oh, that must be it. It's dumb. But I think this, post COVID, obviously we've been dealing with the fraudsters. Now we're dealing with truck parking, and now the issues are always coming up. So I think we're going through a big curve, and everybody's talking about, oh, well, when's the industry, when's this market going to turn around? It's not going to turn around until we really get down to the issues at hand, because we're just going to keep lipsticking the pig. We're going to keep mandating things, and then shit's going to pop up in a year from now, and there's going to be another issue and another issue, which, inevitably it's going to happen. But these are like small things that, shit, they could probably be squashed pretty quickly if everybody was on the same track.
Yeah.
And I might be thinking of it too simplistic, but damn, this industry is easy. People make it hard. A lot of selfish cats out there, but that's just.
Obviously.
All I'm trying to say is it is not as difficult as everyone thinks it is.
What the fuck did you just say, Pedro?
I'm sorry, bro. I just had to break up the bullshit. That's all.
FreightNinja.com. Go check them out.
FreightNinja.com. Use code Lounge Ninja.
Yes.
Lounge
So
Ninja.
one thing that I wanted to know about here, and it's got nothing to do with truck parking. It might have something to do with truck parking, but I haven't spent a lot of time in there. So, Papa Freight, this freight school deal. What's the deal with this thing?
Yeah, come over. It's just another platform similar to LinkedIn where we can all talk, chat amongst things, logistics related or freight related anyway. I'm trying to get, or we have, a few hundred people already that are pretty knowledgeable, and we're building out a knowledge base, basically, of classrooms for different things, say LTL freight, truckload freight, reefer freight. I've got people working on those things, and they're making like an entire basic class where we're going to post it in there. But right now, it's more of just trying to get a community involved. A number of people who are very knowledgeable in what they do, and then other people who don't know anything about it and want to learn. So it's just at the beginning, I think we've had it for a while now, but we're trying to get more and more people just involved in the community. And
Yeah,
once
Bill.
we have more things. Like Bill Robinson writes a lot. He's trying to write a few things for it. Jeff and myself, we're all working on stuff, and I've got some other people writing. So, it's like a 5-year plan, not a, hey, everybody get in here right now, kind of thing.
No.
But there's some good people in there.
Yeah, Bill called me one day and said, "Hey, you need to get in on the school thing." I'm like, "Look, I don't have time for school. Like, I don't know what it is, and I don't have time for it." But anyway, I jumped in there and I got in, but I don't think I've been back in there. But there was other people that were like, "Hey, you can make money with this." I'm like, "Look, man, too much
we're not in it actually for the money part of it. I mean, I pay for the server and all that. It's not really the money part, although at some point there will be a subscription, and the money will be dispersed to the people who create the classroom content, right? I mean, that's the idea behind it. But we do want to get a really good community of people that, instead of the LinkedIn kind of chatter where there's a lot of different things, this is just more focused on freight kind of movement stuff. Yeah. So, I mean, that's where we're at. I mean, I'm going to keep working on it. But like I said, it's like a 5-year plan. A lot of people will get emails because they haven't been in there for a while that'll say, hey, you need to get in or your membership will be canceled. Because right now it's free, but at some point there will be a subscription, and there'll be a lot better content in there. At least, people who have experience in what they do, and they're willing to share it, and they put it in there. I mean, those contributors are the people who are going to get some of the money. We'll divide up the money that comes in for it from subscriptions to the people who provide the content.
But I asked about it, one, because I had the interest of what is this really about? But two, it kind of goes back to the truck parking debate where we're talking a lot of times the argument is more subjective and based on ignorance. People just don't understand the industry and what's going on in it.
Right.
Or they don't understand it at a deep enough level because maybe they haven't been in it long enough. But I think if you had a platform like that where you're actually breaking things down at a fundamental educational level, kind of like what you guys did on this show tonight, but instead of for 2 people, anybody that wants to learn more about everyday brokering, carrying, forwarding, you kind of get the nuts and bolts from the people who have done it for a long time and have the experience in it that can give you some education that's practical education, not just, hey, get the book and read it. It's, hey, this is how we do this in our business.
Yeah. So, and Rob, really, I think the problem with the internet is there's so much misinformation out there from people, right?
Yeah.
So I think school, at least freight school, I want to kind of communicate it to people that it's not, a black and white, this is exactly how things operate in logistics, right? That's not the deal.
Yeah.
The deal is, this is what I do. This has been my experiences, and I'm willing to share them with you. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the concept behind it. We want to get a lot of people in there going, look, I did this already. I have experience in it. And this was my experiences. And that's it. And people should be able to learn from that. It's the same thing with we've been talking about the truck parking issue for a long time now. And the thing is it wouldn't exist if there wasn't a need, number one, right? So there's definitely a need. The thing is there's pros and there's cons to all of it. So you're either going to take one position or the other, or you're going to say, hey, there's a need in the market. It works for me and I'm going to use it. Or, hey, I hate it. I don't want to use it. And you don't, right? But then sometimes you're stuck without a parking spot or, it's just, there's pros and cons to it. So if somebody from Freight Ninja or Truck Parking Club or whatever said, hey, I'm going to write a basic school classroom that outlines why this is good and why it's important from my experience, then that's great to share with people, right?
Yeah. And I think it's like on this show. I mean, how many people did y'all have when I got on? 8, 9? And it was
we had 10 because we can only have 10 on screen.
But it's like all of you, some of you do the same thing, right? Like Hunter, Rob do the same thing, and it's like they probably don't do everything the same exact way, even though
Exactly.
they're doing the fundamentally same job. So it's like the more perspective you have, valuable, practical perspective, it's going to be good. So
yeah, I even said this on the show a long time ago. I said, you can have a drayman on the East Coast and a drayman on the West Coast, and they'll write you a totally different class. Seriously.
100%. That would go for every single port.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can
Ocean and inland. I mean, shit, inland's a totally different ballgame,
really
dude.
can't say I want to describe the nuts and the bolts of drayage. Oh yeah, it's going to be different every freaking port. So, you know, that's kind of what I want school to be, is people sharing their experiences and saying, this from my experience, this is what it is. And maybe people can learn from it and apply it to what they need. Right. So,
yeah.
Actually, I'm gonna reach out to Steve Talmo because he's my drayage buddy. He's the only guy that I know that like geeks out over cans as much as I do. So maybe we can do a little collab on that shit, man. I'm telling you, drayage, I love it. It's the biggest punishment I've ever put myself in. Like I've never been so excited to wake up at 6 a.m., go to the office, and then stay up until 3 a.m. You know, raking phone calls from Los Angeles. So teach their own, but.
I was on a podcast the other day. I don't even remember what it was. Domiciled. I don't know when it comes out, but we were talking about like, I guess the hierarchy of truckers. Like who's like the trucker, kind of classified as flatbed, heavy haul, out of gauge, and then at the bottom of it, you kind of have just your general new recruit van driver, and then you kind of spread it out in the middle, like. You got the Air Force, who's the reefer drivers, who are just like cushy and, But anyway, when I was thinking about this, it was when Domicile was asking me, what of those was your favorite? I was like, drayage was my favorite. I think it was because it kept me moving all the time as a driver. But you had so much opportunity as a carrier. I mean, there's so much drayage freight out there.
Hell yeah, dude. My first contract, I wasn't just pulling from the ports. My customer had 3 separate yards, and then their customers were in the what is it, the Inland Empire. And so we'd be shuttling containers back and forth to make space. And dude, it was 24/7. But finding those owner operators, I had this one dude. He called himself Curtis the Rabbit, and I shit you not, he worked for me for 34 hours straight. I would give all my guys a list of containers that could be moved, and I didn't really keep up with him. He'd just like let me know what containers he was picking up, and I was like, dude, is that even legal to work that long? And man, they don't call me Curtis the Rabbit for no reason. I shit you not, dude. He got done after like 30 something hours, went to bed, and then called me in Nashville at 5 a.m. saying, hey, you got anything I can do for you? Shit, let me find out. I'll be in the office in a minute. But yeah, you can hustle out there, man. But that's why I love drayage. It's just, but drayage to me, like this was like my opportunity with like this was my mindset. Like like the supply chain's like an onion. In all reality, if you do international, it starts over in freaking Italy.
Yeah,
someone's selling freaking some sort of cherry juice to a candy company out in California. And this was one of my customers, Emotrans. So they handled all the ocean parts, and everything was ready to go. Set up a drayage carrier, got it translated onto a reefer truck, sent it out to California. So that's adding 2 pieces of service right there. So if you're importing and going over the road, man, you are a fucking diamond in the rough. But drayage is not for everybody.
No,
I'd spent many years late night watching YouTube, man. YouTube University. I'm telling you, that's where I learned my shit. I mean, in college, obviously, like I learned a lot, but dude, like I spent my time, and I'd call customers and I'd close them in one call because I know what problems they were dealing with. Yeah. And then OTR, man, that's easy freight. Anybody can freaking drive a dry van, reefer truck.
Yeah. But no, when I started as a carrier, I didn't want to tell anybody no. So that was when I got my broker authority. But then I did so much drayage that I ended up, I wanted to be a customs broker, but I couldn't pass the exam. Yeah, I couldn't focus on passing it.
They
So
say that shit's harder than the bar. They say
yeah.
it's harder to become a customs agent than it is to be a lawyer.
Well, you know what? In the schemes of logistics, you're going to get the most sleep trying to read the book.
Yeah.
So you can pass the test. You're going to get a lot of
sleep.
Well, I ended up going with I leased on. Well, I signed on. I had my own authority for carrier, own authority for broker, but then I became an agent for BNSF International, so that I could still forward some of the customers that I was doing dray for.
Right.
So that was how I got into the sweet potato exports. Was not only was I the trucker behind it, I was basically forwarding it through BNSF. But dude, we got into so much stuff with that, and I liked it because it's wide open. Like if you can think about it, you can make it happen. I mean,
hell yeah.
We had an idea for this was probably 10 years ago, bagged polyethylene resins. And at the time, like bagged polyethylene resins are basically it's what they make all plastics out of. They come from cracker facilities. What's called cracker facilities. But they were building these things at that time, like 10, 12 years ago, all over the place because it was like one of the hottest exports. And anyway, they did a deep water dredge down in Norfolk in Virginia. So we put this bagging operation where all we did was bag polyethylene resins from these cracker facilities, put them in containers and ship it overseas. And it was big enough to where BNSF took it from us. So I mean, you can just think about these things that are like booming and then just turn it into something that makes crazy money.
I'm telling you, there's so many resources for it. I don't know, like Import Yeti has been my best friend. We actually had him on the show, but you can see who's handling it in China. Where's it going to? Like who's buying it? Who's giving the house BOL? Who's getting the regular BOL? It's just something that people do not focus on or don't want to take time into learning.
Yeah,
and that's where I saw the opportunity. Same with crazy enough. Same thing with LTL. People think that LTL is an impossible thing. They just don't want to deal with it. I'm like, dude, you literally just plug in the dimensions, do all this shit, send it over. You get your rate, send it off. Boom, it's picked up. You just have to give your customer the expectations, the realistic expectations. Like, hey, here's when Southeastern says this is going to be delivered. I don't even know if it's going to be picked up today. We might have put the order in too late, but I'll keep you posted.
Yeah,
9 out of 10 times they're cool with it. But
no, yeah. I just did an article on the Rob Report thing about this in terms of like when I started into the drayage. Everybody was like, you can't find your own customers. You got to have a broker. I'm like, no, you don't.
Right.
And like how I've got a lot of people started was back then it was something called Peers. It's not Peers anymore. It's I think IHS Market owns it now. But I mean, you can search any import, export, whatever you want to look up. You can find out where it came from, who the shipper is. I mean, everything down to the container number, when it got shipped, when it's going to arrive, what port it's coming to.
That's all public information. Crazy enough, though, our export information is not available. Imports, though, good to go.
So it's a wide open industry. So
hey, ladies and gentlemen, we're rolling up on 3 hours here.
Yeah, I would love. I'm gonna jump out.
I would love to keep the conversation going, but I want to eat some of this food that my wife made. And I got some content that I got to put out, or I should say, Hunter and I got some content that we need to put out. We need to schedule stuff. So do y'all mind if we start to wind this down, chop out this bitch?
Priorities, Rob. Priorities.
I know. I do. Hey, you priorities, bro. I am just surprised your priorities aligned tonight. And I've got you up at 8 o'clock.
Oh no, I was getting ready to say, hey, it's 8:02. I'm gonna bounce because I'm 2 minutes over. I'm at my target. So.
I think we could quit as long as you make a note and tell Bill and Jeff that I was the oldest guy to outlast everybody.
Yeah, I will. I will.
We're good.
I will so tell them that. Hey, Steven. Hey, you and Rob, I want to say thank you guys for coming on. I mean, it is notoriously hard to get you two gentlemen on. You guys do a lot. Rob, you've got a strict schedule that you stick to, and Mr. Dot, man, I know you've been doing a lot of stuff, man. You know, especially up there in Washington and everything. Claudia used to be hard to get on, but she just recently changed her schedule, so now she's free pretty early. So, but
as long
hey,
as Sugar Bear's working, I can always hop on.
that's it. That's it. Hey, we're actually going to start it with you, Claudia. Any closing comments, questions, concerns, updates, or plugs?
I am so thankful for this network, for this group, for you fellas, and for letting me in the OG group of the lounge, and just the connections that we get to make, the things that I get to learn from you guys. Rob, I messaged you in the message earlier. I can reach out to these guys. Like I reached out to Rob. I had an ELD question. It came back to vetting, but like this guy's preaching about ELD all the effing time. So like I was like, hey, like help me out, bro. Like I don't understand this, and really made things a lot more clear for me. And anytime I reach out to anybody here, you guys do that, and I just thank you so much. And if there's anything I can do, I'm always there to try to get it done. So yeah, peace out. Thanks for letting me come on tonight, and hopefully we set up the new kids with some good info. Have a good night and great weekend, guys.
Thank you, Claudia, and I agree. I hope we gave them some good stuff too, man. It was, I don't know, when I met those two gentlemen, I immediately thought like I have got to get these guys in the lounge and give them an opportunity to talk to the people that we get to talk to every day. I mean, because let's be real. I mean, everyone that we had here tonight, I mean, including you, Claudia, like are fucking movers and shakers in this industry. I mean, we come from a diverse background. No one on this show has ever had the same exact story, and those two guys that they're the wave of the future. And let's be real, it is the folks that it is the generation before you that you need to be learning from. Even though your current generation may be the future, it's the ones before you that you need to listen to, that you learn from, because they've got the experience and the knowledge that you need to use to help move this industry forward. And again, how amazing was it that we had, I'm going to go and count this up. I'm serious. I'm going to go count this up. But on my count, we had over 200 years of experience on this fucking show. Like, that is crazy. Just think about that. I mean, that's absolutely nuts to get that much experience to come together and to try to guide these young men, and then to be able to walk away with some information. Rob, old man, that's your name, dude. When I told Hunter, I was like, hey man, the old man's trying to come in. He said, which one? I was like, the old man.
No, dude, I had laid down in the bed and I had my phone in my hand and I saw Bill was on here and I'm like, oh no, I can't let Bill be on there after 6:30 and me not get on there. So no, I got nothing. I appreciate you sending me a link. I get on when I can, and
we know,
sometimes
Thank
we
you for
work.
gracing us with your presence.
Yeah, and seriously, dude, Rob, you're another one of those, man. You got a plethora of information, man, and a lot of people don't get to tap into you. And same with Mr. Dot. Like, you guys really only come on our show, man. And so we appreciate that. And you two are really a valued commodity in our industry. Y'all got a ton of information that people need to tap into, and we appreciate that y'all give us your time. Mr. Dot, what about you, broski?
Man, I appreciate you inviting me to this, because I like the future. I want the kids to take over. I've been doing this too long, so but appreciate having that's a good concept, having a couple of people who are new to the industry actually be able to talk to people who've been in it for 40 plus years, right? So
you know what I need to do, Stephen? I'm gonna find a way to download this and drop a link in the Freight School to this episode. I think this would be pretty cool. I think this would be pretty cool.
Yeah, we're going to try to hit getting people in the Freight School and getting some more content out there. I think it'd be good. Get some more people involved. So I appreciate your guys' help too. I mean, I support the Logistics Lounge when I can. We're all busy and doing stuff, and I like what you guys are doing too. So thank you.
We appreciate it. Hunter and I have just the utmost respect for you, Steve, like we do, man. You know the people that we followed well before we did this, and yeah, we just thank you for being a part of it, man. You're an awesome logistician, and you're an amazing friend as well.
All right, thank you, man. Well, you enjoy your food.
My wife made
I'm hungry now, too.
burgers, onion rings, and fucking French fries. So yeah, dude, I'm ready to go fucking eat. Hunter,
I hear you, man.
Mr. Hound, Middle Management Hound, Mr. Freight Hound, Doogie Howser Hound,
Dr. Dre, did it all. Father Freight. Yeah, keep
Father
an eye out
Freight,
for Father
Dr.
Freight,
Dre.
Rob. You started a movement there. I was gonna be a freight pimp or something yesterday, and then old Pedro said Rob Carver
No,
calling for
yeah,
Father
we
Freight.
did.
So I had to do it.
It popped up as a memory or something, and I was like, "Oh Lord, it's coming around again." And I'm like, "This is gonna have to be an annual thing now." I mean, it's like,
Oh, we're about to start doing freight confessions.
there you go.
It's gonna be a
Yeah,
thing,
bro.
man. Yeah, shit. I paid
You're
a hard-earned $30 for that outfit, and then my I updated from the OG chain. Now I got my money chain right here. It spins.
Oh,
It's a
Lord.
spinner. Boom.
Hey,
Father Freight.
listen, if you're gonna have freight confessions, you better go freight church and give them.
We're building the chapel. All right. I'm talking to Father
Yes,
Freight, after this, and we'll figure it out.
Hey, Claudia, your penance today is you have to do five pre-trips and recite a section of your choice from the FMCSA handbook 5 times.
Oh,
Mhm.
We're gonna get with Rob. Like, Rob, we need you to come up with our penance. Dude, we're serious.
Hey,
Hunter and I
pre-trips
talked about
are
this.
not a fucking penance. They're
No.
a preventative measure. Do
We-
not call them a penance. Pick
We
something
have
else.
talked about this, Claudia. We are seriously going to do a freight confessional, and we're going to bring people in and confess their freight sins, and then Hunter is going to dish out penance.
I don't know if I want to go that far with it.
Is that going to be the first?
I don't
is that
want it
gonna
to
be
be
the first video?
sacrilegious now.
Is that gonna be
we're doing. We're gonna start carrier rescue, like bar rescue, but for like trashy carriers, and we just blend it together. Like whoever.
Dude, let me know. I will talk to Father Freight, and he might make an appearance. All right.
Yeah,
If it
like
needs to
you
come
kick it
down
off
to it.
and let them confess what they're willing to confess to first, and then we'll go in and try to fix it.
Yeah. If I need to hop on a flight, I'll make sure I get a buddy pass for Father Freight. We'll be there.
That works.
Yep.
But closing comments. Thank y'all for showing up. This is a cool ass show. Kind of gets me fired up, seeing these kids out here and just dumping some information. Because hanging out with you old fucks all day, minus you, Claudia. You're about my age, looks like at least. But
so
like,
not?
I don't know. Sometimes I do kick myself down and like I think I don't know anything, but then it just starts flowing and it's cool. And then this is like I'm telling you, I'm sitting here taking notes, and it's cool. I love this place and I love y'all. And but there might be some hope for this industry yet.
Yeah.
Isn't that the very truth?
Yep.
Hey, everyone, thanks for hanging out with us this evening, this Friday evening. We hope everyone has had a fantastic week. Hope everyone had a happy Halloween and that everyone was safe out there. Next week we got some fun stuff going on. We got Tow Truck Tuesday coming up.
Oh, don't forget about Stop the Scam on Monday.
Stop the Scam thank you for reminding me. I was just about to say I forgot it. Stop the Scam on Monday. John Quintera, he was on the show tonight. And I'm not looking at the calendar, but we got some good stuff coming up next week. We got some good shit. Actually, Upwell. We have Upwell next Friday.
Yep.
And Wednesday. I don't think we have anything Wednesday. I think we decided we were going to do a freestyle Wednesday. So yeah,
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure out. We'll see how things go. Y'all know how we are. We always like to put out the amazing content here in the lounge. Thanks everyone for hanging out with us. We're going to go ahead and do this final sponsor break, and then we're going to chop out this piece. We talked about truck parking. Hey, it's here. It's going to stay. It just is what it is. And if you're going to do that business, you need to be doing that business with someone like Freight Ninja. They own their own lots. They're in total control of them. They have control over these spaces, and you call them 24 hours a day. Numbers rolling across the bottom of your screen, or you can go to their website, talk to someone live. Make sure that you use the code Lounge Ninja. Get yourself some special rates. It could be for 1 night, 2 night, 3 night, 50 night, 5,000 night. 1 truck, 2 truck, or 5,000 truck, or even a trucking school, like Hunter said, even a CDL school, all kinds of things can go on at Freight Ninja site. So make sure y'all go check them out, hit them up, and use that code scrolling across the bottom of your screen. And Freight Validate. Hey, fraud, theft is a humongous thing in this industry. It is a topic that is talked about every single day. And the only way that you're going to help mitigate the risk to yourself, your shippers, and your carriers is to have the proper platform so you can validate and verify those people that you're doing business. No one does that better than our good friends over at freightvalidate.com. With that, we're going to chop out this piece. Everybody, thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. Have a good weekend. As I always say, chunk them deuces. Mr. Hound, roll that beautiful bean footage, brother.